All right, we are live, gentlemen. Greetings, YouTube. Bruce Wayne here, dropping in from Gotham. Trying to run a Fate game. Emphasis on trying. First time. Love the system. Seeing if we can do a horror mystery theme here. We have this skeleton crew of esteemed gentlemen willing to bear with me. Uh, I will let them introduce themselves and plug their channels and whatnot. Uh, you can find me Bruce Wayne or Gaming in Gotham on YouTube and WordPress. So let's start with Nelson.
Hello, my name is Nelson. I have the YouTube channel and Facebook group Infinite Roleplay, or 8 Roleplay at Twitter. I do a bunch of art and roleplay related stuff, building terrain, models, 3D, drawing, rules, all that junk. Today I'll be playing Fast Freddy. Um, Fast Freddy is a speakeasy exorcist who believes cash is more real than ghosts.
All right. So Fast Freddy will be joining us today. And then we have David Sims.
Okay, I'm going to be playing Professor Randolph Edwards, who's a cocky professor, adjunct professor with something to prove, who believes nothing at all about these spirits and all that mumbo jumbo, and he'll prove it by scientific methods and means. And I got a channel, same name, David Sims, where currently I'm running and playing in a lot of Fate games, like this one here, and also got some PC Let's Plays on there, and a little bit of literature reading. So check it out.
All right, excellent. Yeah, check out the channels, great guys. So you both have received a letter, mysterious letter. It's got a wax seal on it. Very sparse in information, otherwise requesting your aid in a manner along what they suspect is occult, paranormal in some degree. And you both, through one means or another, have your name in that community. Thus, your aid has been requested. So you make your way to this small town, heading towards the address on the letter. So as you approach, you see, it's nothing too extravagant, when it's set in the 30s, so it's pretty rustic looking town out in the backwoods for the most part. And the address, it ends up leading you to what looks like a large cemetery. And as you approach, you see there's an old, large house that sits alone atop a hill amongst the tombstones. It is here that for generations the caretakers of the crypts and their families have lived. And it's also here where you suspect, given the address, you are to begin your search. A tall stone wall rings the expanse of cemetery, and a wrought iron gate is all that stands between you and the estate. So now I'll hand it over to you two gentlemen.
Okay. I step out of the cab and stand out front of the high gate. It is a residence, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's the house is in the cemetery itself.
Okay.
So
All right.
you
Okay.
can see it sitting up atop the hill.
Okay. Cool. Okay. All right. Well, I get out to the cab. I get out of the cab, pay the driver. Don't tip him, of course, because why? It's his job to bring me here in one piece. And and I'll kind of tighten the lapels around my overcoat, to kind of keep out the chill and the dampness. And as I kind of reach out to push the rusted and squeaking gate open,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look to my left and to my right, and that's when I kind of frown a little bit as I see the character I can only assume is Fast Freddy coming up the street towards me.
Yet Fast Freddy, being the professional that he is, long arrived at this estate. His methods of transportation not currently seen. He's he grabs his satchel of gear and books and orbs, baubles, charms that he has at his side. He adjusts his tie, lights a cigarette, grabs his satchel, and starts walking to the professor. Smoking, blowing that smoke into the moonlight. It almost, it forms a cloud, almost like a halo. Very deceptive halo, because the way he carries himself is not very angelic. Puts his bag of stuff down by his side, reaches his hand out to the professor, and introduces himself. How you doing there, buddy? I'm Fast Freddy. I'm here to excise this joint.
I reach out my hand gingerly and hesitantly almost, and give this gentleman a not too firm grip, but definitely one to let him know and be aware of who his betters are in this situation. And with that, I'll open up the satchel underneath my arm, and I'll pull out the letter of invitation as it is here, and I'll kind of snap it out, so I can read it. And I'll say, I'll kind of look as I'm reading it, I kind of adjust my spectacles, so I'm kind of looking over the letter at this Mr. Fast Freddy, and I say, I'm not aware precisely of what exactly the situation is here, my good fellow. But do you have any other information as to what may be going on?
Well, now the Fast Freddy has arrived. Won't be much of a situation for long. Just sit back, my friend, and watch the man work. And he takes another pull. Oh, that's good.
And exactly what's the situation here that you think?
Well, it's quite clear if they hired Fast Freddy to a job. This apparently has some paranormal happenings. I wouldn't suppose a gentleman like yourself would know much about this. Possibly they asked you along so that you could learn from Fast Freddy here.
Freddy can see that this professor, he is maybe in his early 30s, just maybe. So he is pretty young, and you kind of can see that he has gone to great lengths to and through his appearance and kind of his demeanor to kind of give the presentation of being a little bit more mature, than he is. But you still do get an aura that this guy seems to be pretty wet behind the ears, And at that, I kind of put the letter, fold the letter back up, and thrust it back into my satchel. And I wag a finger at Fast Freddy and say, I've had to debunk many a so-called occultist and theorist rather, about these so-called spirits of yours. So we'll just see about that. And with that, I'll swing the gate open and begin walking up the path through the cemetery towards the house.
Okay. Yeah, Freddy will just, he'll just giggle. Yeah.
Freddy ain't gonna make it, man.
Start blowing rings of smoke as you pass, almost trying to make one ring larger than the other, trying to make a target sign. He points to it as you walk away. That's you, buddy. That's you. Grabs his satchel from the floor and starts, trying to seem like the satchel is not weighing him down, but is apparently quite a weight for him. It's hobbling up the road towards the mansion.
Does Freddie seem to is he handicapped in some way, or he just
No, no,
Dude,
this
okay,
is
okay.
quite a big satchel, and
He's struggling with the weight of it. Okay,
yeah, he's not that large of a man. He's not very muscular at all.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So as you approach the house, um, starting to get a little late, and you do notice the sky is getting gray. Storm might be coming in. And looking around, it says it's a fairly long path up there. You notice there are some graves freshly dug, waiting for their tenants. Shovel still remains thrust in a pile of dirt. And the grass is long and unkept, and the scent of soil and grass fills the air, and leaves rustle in a slight breeze as the branches of scattered trees sway back and forth. Some of the tombstones you can tell are quite old, the names and dates long since faded, beaten down by the elements, and a few mausoleums are scattered throughout, ornately carved or made from simple rock, some grand marble.
Yeah, as we're walking past all the, you know, the trees, the gravestones, the open graves, Freddy is looking back and forth. Oh, yes, yes, yes. You see that right there, youngin? You see that right there? Yeah. Ah, and then as the sky grows dim and apparently, she starts smelling the air. Ah, this is looking good. Do you realize that the appearance of lightning see the energy as the lightning strikes the ground. It gives that energy, and the spirits they feed. The apparitionals they feed on that energy. It makes them more alive. So you know you're gonna see something in there. I tell you, it's gonna be good.
Well,
Oh,
see,
were you gonna say something?
yeah, Radolph had a cock.
Oh, you're breaking up bad.
You might.
I didn't get any of that.
I can't
Oh,
hear none of that.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Say, Randolph Edwards happens to be a cocky adjunct with something to prove, and he might know a thing or two about lightning. So I'm going to compel you to drop some knowledge on Freddy.
I'll take the fate point, but you didn't have to compel me because I was about to do that. Yeah. I'll take it though. Okay, that's cool. I kind of turn and kind of sneer dismissively, at Freddy. And as I take out a handkerchief and start wiping the mud off of my immaculate shoes, to get the gloss back for the shine, I kind of glance up at him and I say, lightning is merely an atmospheric occurrence, nothing more, nothing less. If anything, what's getting hungry around here is me. Let's get this over with so I can go have my dinner. And I'll attempt to open the door for him and allow him through.
Yeah, he starts left. Obviously, the paranormal is a subject you are not versed in, my friend. He'll walk through again. The little cigar in his right hand, holding it there as he adjusts his tie, trying to look like he did not just lose an argument. Why, how gentlemanly of you, youngin'. Respect for your elders. I see you've been taught this. And as he walks in.
And I kind of mumble under my breath, merely helping someone who's obviously struggling. And I'll close the door behind me and kind of, clear my hands a little bit, and then putting my hands on my hips, take a look around and see what have we gotten ourselves into now.
So as you enter, the door creaks open, and likewise behind you as it shuts, and the scent of mildew and must greets you, and it's dark. There's a staircase in the foyer that you're currently in with wilted ferns in large pots on either side of the rail, and a tattered carpet adorning the steps that leads to the upper floors. A portion of the balcony and railing leading to the left from the upper floor has been ripped away, just splinters of wood and frayed carpet on either end, leaving what looks to be a good solid 20-foot gap or so between what's left of it and the door. A brass chandelier with ornate crystal decorum dangling from its many limbs hover from the vaulted ceiling, and a few portraits hang silently along the wall, depicting various people, male, female, old, young, some of entire families. At least that's what you would assume. Perhaps previous heads of the house. One dominates the mantel in the corner above a blackened fireplace, with a poker and small coal shovel still leaning idly against the stonework. In the portrait, a man, a woman, and a young boy, no more than 10 years of age, peer back at you, their blank faces making you feel a bit uneasy, and the eyes, all around you, the eyes, watching your every move. A few stands with empty vases make up the rest of the room's decorum. That and the fine powder that has settled over everything. The wind begins to pick up outside, moaning in the distance as the storm moves in, and the foyer is suddenly illuminated as lightning flashes, heralding what's to come.
As the lightning just strikes. At that moment, almost at that moment, you know, it startles Fast Freddy ever so slightly, and he drops his satchel of stuff, you know, his bag of stuff on the floor, and just like the lightning crackling and crashing, the bag hits with a thud. It's like, yeah, well, I think we should get to work. Give me a second here. He puts his cigar in his mouth, and he holds and starts. You know, he opens and digs through his bag. He pulls out, you know, a flashlight, pulls out a small book, you know, and then he hands this almost paperback type book and flashlight to his young compatriot, and then grabs a flashlight of his own. What's quite obvious on the title of the book at first glance, without even opening it, it says Tesla: Life and Times. And he turns to the young man and goes, "You should read that. It has some very good information on the power of electricity and the power of lightning. You know, you have been I'd hate to say this, you know, a young man such as yourself has so much potential, but it looks like you may have been misinformed." You know, and then he stands back up with the flashlight, grabs the satchel, puts the flashlight in the same hand as the satchel, and then pulls the cigarette out of his mouth. "Shall we continue, my friend?"
I look at the books and the other trinkets and implements that this obvious charlatan is putting on display. Not impressed whatsoever, because I've seen this before, you know. That once you've seen one, you've seen them all. No, but I am impressed that he actually did take the time to actually read a book about certain things. So that he does get kudos for that. So, but nonetheless, I am not, you know, I'm not disproven yet, you know. I will kind of walk around the room, focusing on the portraits, you know, and I'll toss the letter with the wax and seal on the table, and I'll say, this still doesn't explain who or why, you know, who wrote this letter, who actually, you know, summoned us here. I would like to know. And I kind of raise my voice and I say, "Hello, is anyone here? It's mighty rude of you to keep your guests standing around."
There's no response other than the echo of your voice.
That's good.
Coming back.
He's like, "Oh, you're approaching the situation all incorrectly." Puts his satchel back down, tries to do so gingerly, puts his cigarette back in his mouth, his cigar back in his mouth. He opens it back up, starts rummaging around, and starts pulling out these mechanical-looking pieces and begins to assemble them. As time goes by, they, you know, once the pieces are assembled, you can recognize them as a picture taking device, a photography device, one of the first. Brings out a small uh, a small skin of black powder and starts priming the device. He goes,
Oh, you see, you could find a lot about pictures. Once you take a picture of this picture, it reverses the image once again to its original state, where spirits tend to hide.
then he puts himself underneath, and he's smoking, the smoke billowing from underneath the cloth of this old time this old time camera, and you just hear him go,
Yes, interesting, interesting.
I'll back up and
holding
give
the
him
flash pan,
right. I'll back up.
holding the flash pan up.
Oh, yeah.
I back up and give him more than enough room as he's smoking while he's dealing with powder, flammable powders and things, just waiting to see an accident happen. But I would give this gentleman plenty of room to either prove me wrong or I'll be ready to try to drag him to the nearest hospital as soon as possible.
Yeah. A few moments pass, and then you hear as the flash pan goes up and takes a photo, and him,
Oh, that was, yeah.
comes out. As he comes out of the cloth, and the cloth just falls flat, forcing all the excess smoke to billow out in one large cloud. He seems almost silhouetted in the cloud of smoke as, the light of his cigar is just growing stronger as he takes a big whiff in.
That's going to be a good one. I'll show you, when I have a chance to develop it after we get done with this little incursion of ours.
And then begins to disassemble it piece by piece and put it back in his satchel.
Okay, all right. At that, can I take a little bit of a closer look at the portrait, just to kind of see if there's any other little minute detail that I may have overlooked just by glancing at it? So I take a closer look.
Okay. Are you looking at all of them, or just the one over the mantle?
Just
or?
the one over the mantle. Yeah, that's because the way things should be. The mantle portrait would logically be the one of the most importance. So that's the one I'm
Right.
going to look at.
So, peering about the portrait, it's an oil painting, rather well done, depicting the family. What looks like a mother, a father, and a boy. And down at the bottom, you'll notice there's a tarnished brass plate that just simply says the Federin family.
Any nameplate specifically under it?
No. It looks like there may have been some due to what looks to be like an outline where there's clearly a much cleaner, like rectangular indentations on it where something may have been resting.
Okay.
But it looks as though they've been removed, and
Do
just
I?
that one remains.
Okay. Do I look down at the floor? Does it look like there has been any other recent foot traffic throughout this room before we got here?
Not that you can tell.
Okay.
There's definitely a fine powder of dust settling over everything. The most recent traffic, it looks like, is from your cells.
Okay.
The footprints, dragging, behind you all over the place.
Okay. All right. As I noticed that the nameplate or some identifier has been removed from that portrait, I'll kind of glance down at the fireplace, assuming that it also hasn't seen any signs of use in a while, and I will put my hands in my pockets, and I'll kind of slowly just walk around the room, kind of still keeping one eye on Mr. Freddy, as he's doing his thing, and I guess making my way towards. Did you say that there was a stair?
There's a staircase, and
Yep.
then walking around, you notice there's a door that you may have overlooked initially,
Okay.
immediately to the left from the entrance.
Okay. All right. I'll make my way towards that door, assuming it goes back to maybe a pantry or possibly a kitchen area or something like that. And I'll kind of, open it and kind of crack it and stick my head in there and look, see what's in there.
Okay. So, as you slowly open the door, to your surprise, it swings on silent hinges, and the long hall can be seen with dull wood floors covered in dust and scratches, and more portraits line the wall, the frames of which are dingy, and the violet wallpaper, far from its former splendor, peels away, hanging in tatters.
Yeah, as my young compatriot has went a little bit ahead, I'm trying to see if he's watching me here or there and zip up my bag, pull it up, and I start looking behind the paintings one by one. What I'm really looking for is any sort of safe or, secret compartment where valuables might be held.
So you're just walking around lifting up all the paintings.
All the paintings I'm looking behind. And every
Okay,
time
and
every time I would see him look, I look back and go,
Oh, yeah, it's very interesting. You gotta
yeah,
look behind every corner to see if you can find these apparitions. They like to hide.
you know.
Mutterings of a madman. I shake my head. I'm not onto him one bit.
yeah, there's no hidden saves or compartments behind the paintings, as far as you can tell so far.
Would there be anything behind the actual, not on the wall, but behind the actual painting? Does the fine coating of dust permeate the painting, or is it clear? Is there no dust behind the painting? Seeing how long these paintings were on here in comparison
Um,
with the actual dust.
yeah, the behind the paintings, it's for the most part clean. Like, they've been resting up against the wall, and there's been no room for dust to get back there. So it's just from that indicator alone, it seems apparent that no one's been here for quite some time for the dust to settle in such a manner, undisturbed.
So I keep continuing. I'll take a moment to pull maybe a 2-inch actual painter's brush out of my bag and just dust little trinkets that I find, a lampshade or maybe an old table, an old end table, in the hallway. Frames of the painting one by one as I'm following behind my young compatriot, all the while saying, very interesting. Oh yes. Dusting away the certain areas here or there. Nothing specifically, but trying to look like I'm dusting things away specifically.
Find
Okay.
any spirits yet behind there?
Quite elusive, these ones. Quite elusive. I think maybe we'll have to find maybe any personal effects of theirs.
And I'll look at the paintings to see if they were wearing any sort of identifying jewelry or things that may look like family heirlooms. If any male members in the paintings might have sort of expensive-looking cufflinks, or the females wearing any expensive jewelry. And I start pointing to whatever I see. Just,
Personal effects. They're tied to the material realm through these things in particular.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were looking for rodents or something.
Well, as rodents hide in small holes in the wall, so do apparitions. And when they see Fast Freddy coming,
he extends his arms.
when they see Fast Freddy coming, they know they're not long for this realm.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as,
No, nothing. It's good. I kind of hesitate a moment and give Fast Freddy the eye, like, all right, okay, all right, and uh, I'll go ahead and fully go into the back room there that you were describing for us.
Okay.
And I'm really starting to I'm really starting to think that this was nothing but some kind of a prank of some sort, because obviously, other than my companion back here, we are the only two here. But I cannot imagine why anyone would have gone to the lengths to lure us here for any particular reason. So I'm kind of thinking like, what other professors or students had I insulted in the past month or so that may be trying to play some kind of prank on me, and I am not amused. Okay, so I'll pull out the letter again, and as if reading it again would shed any more light on our situation, which I'm sure it wouldn't. I just began to peruse it again and kind of read it slowly.
Okay. So, as you're reading it, you do notice. I said there's the wax seal that was keeping the letter closed, and the sign at the bottom. You just see one letter, F. And as you're walking down the hallway, again the wind howls outside, and a chill draft rushes through the hall, and carrying with it a bit of the dust and debris. And the chillness kind of causes the hairs on your neck to raise. And there's windows looking back out into the cemetery in this hallway. And through the windows, you can see the storm clouds gathering, and flashes as lightning once again cuts across the sky. There's another flash, and in the window pane, you can see just for an instant, there's a ghastly skeletal figure, flesh hanging loosely, reaching out to grab you from behind.
We both see this, or
Yeah.
Well, if you're whoever's in the hallway, as far as I know, is just the professor. If you're both looking out the window, then sure.
Well, I was in the hallway walking up to catch up to the professor. I don't know if I would have met him by this time or not.
You see me gasp,
Yeah.
and
If I
fall
see it,
back. That's what you see me gasp and fall back, and I cannot help myself from that sight, and that's my initial reaction, and I fall back like, oh, and take a few steps back, and actually probably back up into the opposite wall of the hallway, and pointing out with my finger, kind of my hand shaking.
Yeah. Really quick reaction, whether you would notice it or not, Fast Freddy, almost in an instant, he drops the 2-inch painter's brush from his hand. He never drops his cigar, but he does drop the painter's brush from his hand. He jumps back as well. What? And he reaches into his pocket really quick and pulls out an old butterfly knife. What? And then he flicks it closed and put it back in his pocket.
Yeah. Well, there, that's what you get. You don't believe in these apparitionals. I told you. As long as you stay by me, they tend to hide. Go off on your own.
Now he'll go in his bag. He's like,
I got something for you.
and then he starts pulling out stuff, laying them on the floor. You see a crucifix, a pentagram, a double barred cross as well. A few little charms, a very small shrunken monkey's paw.
While he's pulling all this out, the sight's got you a little disturbed. So if you would throw me an overcome roll.
Okay. What
using your will, if you would.
Wisdom. Okay. All right.
Or, wisdom.
Okay. All right, so that's a 4 total.
All right, yeah. Your logical mind dictates that was clearly some, just some
Okay.
your mind playing tricks
Okay.
on you.
All right, I'm with you. Okay, knowing that we saw tombstones, some more elaborate than others out there in the graveyard, I surmise that there may even be some statuary out there. And as I kind of quickly pick up my dropped satchel and the letter off of the dusty floor and kind of, brush myself off, I make my way back towards the window just to look out there and just to make sure, and stepping around Freddy so I don't disturb his implements that are on the floor. So I glance out the window tentatively, but I'm pretty sure what I saw was just my imagination. So I take another look.
Yeah, Freddy is,
Hey, what about these things right here?
you can, he pulls up the paw and
This is a good one right here.
two of the fingers, the pinky and the ring, are closed, but the other three are up.
Has served me well. I mean, you might want to know,
And I'll start putting them away back in his bag.
So as I take a look, do I see anything to?
You just see the storm clouds gathering, and there's a few illuminations as some lightning moves around in the storm clouds, and there's a few statues out there, and one looks to be of perhaps a saint, kind of gesturing, hand out, and perhaps that's
Yes, yes, of
reflection.
course. Yes, yes,
contorted.
yes. Of course, of course, of course. As I kind of straighten my overcoat, once again, just knocking the dust off of it, I remind Freddy that there are examples of shared psychosis amongst the people that are in tense situations together, and I'm probably just a little nervous and upset about what's going on here. I don't appreciate being lied to and brought here as part of some prank, and I would hope that you're not part of it as well, sir.
No,
He'll start rummaging through his books and books of the occult and charms and stuff, and you'll actually notice him pulling out another small pamphlet of sorts, not a large textbook, but a small pamphlet, and and he's like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. See,
open up the book, put it in front of his face, his cigar dangerously close, burning dangerously close to the pages of the book. The cover of the book, you would read, that psychological effects and mass psychosis and group imagery and.
well, you see, on page, what is this page? Doesn't matter.
He'll throw the book down back into his bag.
See, what you fail to realize that in a situation of shared psychosis, that the deception must always be shared. But I, of course, know the truth of the matter. That we are dealing with very powerful forces here. And you just keep going off on your own. As a matter of fact,
He'll reach back in and he'll start putting on all the charms one after the other that he once offered you. And he's like,
well, we got this one here, and
and the final one being the cross, the single barred cross. He'll kiss it real quick.
never know.
All right, I note that, and Freddy notices that I reach into my inner jacket, my suit jacket, and he sees kind of like a flash of a small silver cross that seems to be suspended around my neck, And then I quickly take my hand out of there, and then I say, well, regardless to all that, we still need to keep clear and level heads in this situation.
Yeah.
That storm seems to be getting quite strong and dangerous outside.
Yeah, as just as briefly as he sees the glint of that cross across the face of Fast Freddy, his face looking up at yours, his eyes unable to be hidden by the brim of his fedora, you see them open wide ever so slightly, as if an opportunity at great gains had just presented itself. And again, it flies by. Calmness enters his looks.
Oh, I see why you've brought a little protection of your own. I understand why you had spurned such generous offer of mine. Man of faith, I can appreciate that. And he goes, this one thing
merely an heirloom.
Yeah, and he'll start digging around in his bag and then start patting around himself, reaching into his pockets, pulling out the note. He goes,
well, apparently somebody's offered for my services. You know, I don't come cheap.
And he's looking at the letter himself, wondering if he arrived too early or too late for this job, seeing if maybe there is a date in the future that he was supposed to meet someone and was a little too, overzealous in arriving here.
No date on your letter. In fact, should you, have the opportunity to see Randolph's when he flashed it to you, it's virtually identical in information and just signed, dot F.
Okay. Well. Mr. Freddy. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a question. Being that I am okay, what was that awesome thing? I want to spend a fate point and see if it helps me in the art of the flawless con. Being that I am so skilled in the flawless con, I want to recall his letter and even ask him,
You mind showing me your letter as well?
and side by side, analyzing the script. You said these were handwritten. I want to see if there's any differentiation between the two letters. Maybe a small hook in an S, or is the signature of F in the same place? Is it the same size? Is it written in the same way, in the same manner?
Right.
These are both handwritten. There's always slight differences into all the letters. Yeah. So I'm trying to peek out and denote any slight differences. And if there aren't, if these are indeed truly identical, I want to know.
All right. So you'll spend your fate point to convince Randolph with your smooth talking.
Well, no, I was if it requires a roll.
Oh, to check out
I would want.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, I don't have a reason why I wouldn't. If he asked me, I don't think I would anyway to let him look at it. But you just need to figure out, can he do what he notice what he wants to
No,
notice.
you don't need to spend a fate point or roll for enough. And holding them side by side, you notice that the writing is very similar. From what you would know is, even for a person to reproduce their own handwriting perfect is nearly impossible, but it's very, very identical. You would assume that some of the flourishes and embellishments on some of the letters, it's more than likely it was written by the same person.
Not more than likely. Do I personally feel that one would be more akin to a forgery, like a person forging a letter, or are the differences enough that they're natural?
Not as far as you know. I mean, you don't really have any other handwriting from this individual, or even know who the individual was that wrote this letter to go off of, other than the letters itself. But from what you can tell, both the letters were written by the same person.
I only ask because, like, a person forging a letter pays more attention to detail, so it would look more akin to one another than someone writing naturally who doesn't pay that much attention to detail to their own handwriting.
It's written by the same person.
All right.
Well,
so
what do you see?
I'm looking. I'm just going.
Yes, okay.
And all we have is our two names on these letters, are the only actual names. And of course, the name of whatever estate this may be.
Yeah, it's just an address, actually.
Okay. I'll roll my letter back up, and then I'll start to put it back in my inside pocket and go, and I motion to my younger compatriot to roll his letter up as well, and I just want to compare the seals, trying to put them back together as best that I can, to see if the seals again match up and look like if they were pressed from the same signet ring or signet.
Yeah, they are definitely identical from the same item used on the seal. So there's minor differentials in the placement of the wax, kind of where it was dumped at, but.
All right. Yeah, are there any differences in the wax as well? Like, does the wax appear to be of the same candle,
yes,
or was it sealed at two different times?
Yeah, but the wax is both the same hue, red in coloration. Um, there's no real difference in that at all. So it's safe to speculate that it was in fact from the same source of wax on each letter as well.
And you said that there was differences in the signet. Was there
No, no,
difference in the signet or just the placement of this?
they're
Okay.
they're about as in the middle as you can get with the wax, and pressed in with the seal.
All right. I wasn't sure. I thought you said like the actual signet might be different. Okay. Well, I motioned again to slide it in my inside jacket pocket. I kneel down without saying a word and not even taking a puff of the cigar. Just kneel straight down, open up the bag, start rummaging through it once again, and I pull out a wooden baseball bat.
Take a step back.
Right.
I knew it.
And no, and then
Take it. And I pull out my wallet.
I flip the bat around, and I'm just like,
Young cats these days.
and then I hand him the bat handle first.
Oh, okay. I stand there sheepishly, place my billfold back in my breast pocket, and what am I supposed to do with this?
I go, well, apparently we were summoned here, and we know that there is someone here. There was, if you didn't notice, freshly dug graves out front. Somebody had to dig those graves. Maybe it's their disturbance that has these apparitionals up in an uproar.
Oh, I
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I thought maybe perhaps I was supposed to do something, use this bat against your spirits or something. I wasn't sure what your plan was.
He giggled.
That's a good one, good one. The bat is not for the spirits, but as we have certain spirits out there that don't behave, we have other people in our life that aren't the most well behaved either.
I put my hand up and I must I don't want to say it. I appreciate the gesture, but if there's any tomfoolery going around here, I'm sure all we need to do is contact the local authorities and let them be aware of it. But I will, and I kind of point towards that bag, which seems to be endless and bottomless. and I say, would you happen to have any of your own writings in there? You seem to be well versed in many things.
I go to my jacket and I pull out my wallet and I open it up real quick, almost as in a flash, and you see what would look to be a detective symbol. Not an official police one, but like a private investigator. And he snatches it back real quick, almost to not let you get a good look. He goes,
We don't have to worry about any authorities. I am the authority here on many subjects, not just these apparitions as you see. And on the letter, you would notice that I'm named as Detective Frederick P. Anderson, of course. Unless you overlook that, you youngins.
Okay.
I was moving too fast.
I reach into my satchel and I pull out a thick binder, and I kind of hold it up as my own badge of authority. And I say, well, I was really inferring to something such as a thesis or another paper of note, as I have here, and I kind of wave it in front of his nose, something that's more a little bit accredited in some way, and I put it back in.
he goes,
well, self-accreditation is a young folks' game. See, most chronicle my deeds. I do nothing of the sort myself, you see. No need, of course.
and and then he motions his hand with the bat over to where you went in and had come out of, and then went in and had come out of again. He goes,
Shall we continue? I would love to see What apparitional visions? You partook in this next room.
After you, sir.
Yeah, there is. That was in the hallway itself.
Right. Yeah.
Where that happened. So at the end of the hallway, there is another door.
All right. Age before youth.
I see that your respect for authority, your elders, has found itself lacking at the moment. What a little fear won't do to one.
And he tries to, see, is the door completely closed, ajar, or
Yes.
what's the condition of this door?
It's closed.
Always keeping his right hand for his cigar ever burning. It is shrinking in size, but it's still going, and he won't just throw it away. He flips the bat under his armpit and then reaches to open the door. He'll turn the knob, crack it open, grab the bat, flip it back around, and push the door the rest of the way open with the baseball bat.
Okay.
And before proceeding, reach over to his bag and once again carry on.
So when you open the door, again, you hear the squeaking sound of metal on metal as the rusty hinges swing. And it echoes down the hall. And as soon as you open the door, decaying flesh and rot, it seems like an odor most putrid, just blasts you in the face. And you can hear and see flies buzz around the fetid mess that was once a kitchen. And they're just filling the air. And there's just a constant drone. And you can hear chittering as rats scurry across the oak countertops, marred with cuts and gouges from countless prepared meals, where a cleaver is stuck fast, testament to this, and fate stains forever keeping the memory of long butchered flesh intact on their surface. Shanks of meat hang from hooks, black with rot, a large knife still in one, and vegetables as well lay scattered about, decaying into green piles of ooze. And the smell is just horrendous. I'm going to need you to roll and overcome with Constitution.
Okay. I I reflexively put my handkerchief over my mouth and nose, forgetting in the panic of the moment that it still was covered in the mud, from outside. So now my face is just like muddy and stuff. But I don't care. I don't notice, and I kind of step to the side.
All right.
Time for the bad rolls. Constitution, I get a +1 in total.
Okay.
Okay, I got my result is 0, but let me see here. I really don't have anything that I can aspects I can invoke to re-roll that. So actually, how about this? I'm gonna try to. I would like to spend a fate point to invoke my cocky adjunct with something to prove, and I don't want my companion to think that I'm buckling or can't take the heat, so to speak. So I would like to re-roll my roll by spending a fate point.
Okay.
All right, is that cool? Okay.
I'll allow it.
Oh, I'll take it.
Nah, you don't get it. I just
No. No, my roll.
Oh, you got a good. Okay, yeah, okay.
Oh,
right.
what'd you
Oh,
get?
no, I did not get a good one.
What'd you get?
A 1 total.
Okay, so with that, I got a 2 total.
Okay, so yeah, Randolph is fine. However, Freddy is a little off put by this. The smell is just otherworldly. His stomach's a little queasy. Feeling a little upset with this. So I'm gonna put the aspect on you knotted stomach. that I will be able to invoke at some point in time.
All right. And as he recoils from this smell, apparently dropping what was left of his cigar. Wasn't much, but it wasn't enough so that the strong smell of the cigar could have assisted him in this. He drops it,
Oh, God.
stomps his cigar out.
Oh, this is worse than that time in Atlanta.
You would looking into Freddy, you'd have seen that there is other bits of rotted meat laying about, and across the way you can see a large door, and
Yeah.
around its
First,
edges, like
the very first thing Fast Freddy does is that he lays his bag and the baseball bat on the floor, reaches into his pocket, takes out a silver case, opens it up, and pulls another cigar out of there. Puts that away and lights a brand new one up.
Much better. Much better.
And one thing I want to do, I want to give the meat cleaver a glance.
Mhm.
Now, there's rotted meat here. All right. I'll start with the meat cleaver. Is the meat cleaver just a clean piece of cleaver? Is it tarnished? Does it have any rust on its blades, on the fastenings?
It looks like it's got some dried gore on it, and there's a bit of rust starting to show up around the flat of the blade. It's been used for sure at some point in time, but from its condition, it's obviously been sitting there for a little bit. And like I said, looking in, you would see the scene, and then across the way, there's a large door with looks, I can't quite tell. It looks like a little bit of like a chill mist or something seeping out around the edges.
Yeah, I'm more focused on the cleaver and this rotted meat. As I see that the cleaver is old, it's been there for some time. I grab the bat again, and I turn to my compatriot. I'm like, "Are you sure?" With the bat, and I look around again at this rotted meat. Now, if the cleaver was developing rust, apparently the cleaver is a lot older and has not been used. Well, this is what I tell him. I turn to.
I said, what do you make of that cleaver? It has generated some rust, but this rotten flesh here. If this was here as long as that cleaver was, it would not give off the stench.
You can barely hear my my muffled voice underneath the handkerchief, the muddy handkerchief, and I clear my throat as well, but I will take the offered bat, and I point it towards the cleaver, and I say, well, of course, this is just some servant being terribly absent-minded and leaving this mess here after having prepared some. I kind of wave it around, some outlandish meal or something. Surely that has to be what it is.
And I reach back in my pocket for that butterfly knife. I take it out, flip it open.
Okay.
I go, let's be a little careful here. We may not be dealing with apparitions.
Is there through all the mess that's in here? I mean, do we see any unduly or just a crazy amount of like any actual blood or anything of that nature, or is it just the scraps of flesh that? And I mean, there's not like meat everywhere, or is it just remnants that we're seeing?
There's definitely remnants scattered throughout. So there are rats scurrying about, so they've definitely been tearing into it and getting bits all over the place.
Okay, so I'll take this up as just it's the rat's nest or something that's causing this situation, if not making it worse. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I was getting at was that meat decays a lot faster than metal. Okay, and if this meat cleaver is generating,
tell me, Freddy, tell me.
Yeah, if this meat cleaver has any rust on it, you know, I mean, it's either really old and was being in
Well,
use rusted,
I'm
but
gonna
again, we have
Again, we
Okay.
have signs of signs of the living here. Apparently,
I'm gonna assume Freddy is not a metallurgist, but
Agreed. Agreed.
well,
steel
not a
will rust
metallurgist,
within steel
but it
will
would
literally
be,
rust within 24 hours. But yeah, I'm just saying.
but
But obviously, Freddy is a learned man of some
Yeah,
sort.
he's
yeah,
a,
So.
he's a learned man. Of course, of course.
exactly. Yeah, you got to know a little bit of a little bit to
Freddy
achieve
knows
the
a
sort
little
of
bit.
results. To achieve the sort of results of things that you need to achieve as fast Freddy does.
Yeah, Freddy knows a little bit about everything and a whole lot about nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so I'll use the
Pinpoint to
bat
the
to
meat. He
kind
goes,
of.
signs of life. I cannot. I do not understand why the meat would be here rotting. The grave's freshly dug, but hmm, this place is very unkept.
Okay.
Sitting
I,
uneasy with me. Maybe there's a back entrance they've been using, just in case we may be still dealing with apparitions.
well,
But
maybe
there
we
also
should.
may be living in here. We need to watch our backs.
Okay. All right. I'm beginning to think that our best recourse is to notify the authorities, but we'll take another look further, and I'll kind of wave the bat at the rats to kind of scatter them, and I'll
Okay.
move towards the rear door.
Okay. So
Okay.
as you move in, to this putrid scene, you see that the tiles on the floor are covered in film, and the grout is black. And as your feet move across it, there's a constant ticking sound being made. The sticky floor not wanting to surrender to you, clinging to the soles of your shoes. And the droning of the flies appears to get louder and louder, and your vision seems to blur for a moment. You can feel things moving around your ankles, crawling over your shins and feet. The room itself seems to be vibrating and contorting now as you move closer to the door on the far side. Once more, the droning of the flies louder, and a roiling mass of beady red eyes peer up at you from the floor as the swarm seems to rise, nearly to your knees. Sharp little fangs, dozens of them, begin to tear into your flesh, and the air grows thick with tiny black buzzing shapes. And whoever's in the room, I need you to make an overcome roll using your will.
oh, I only rolled 3. Okay. What was it? +2. Well, wisdom. So I'm at a 3.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, you know what? I want to spend a fate point to invoke my aspect chain smoking badass.
Okay.
Now that I have a fresh cigar lit.
So,
So that'll give me a +2 to my roll, giving me a total of 5.
all right. So you succeed with style. Uh,
I just got a
you,
3. Just so you
3.
know.
All right.
Yeah.
You succeed. This is happening. You kind of blink, squint your eyes, shake your head a little bit, and the visions or whatever's happening, seems to dissipate. But you can still, uh, Randolph, you can still feel like there's this uneasiness. You still kind of catch the shapes, the flies, and the mass of them in the corner of your eyes, and occasionally just feel like there's still stuff around your feet. Fast Freddy, on the other hand, is a chain smoking badass and succeeded with style. So he will gain the positive aspect, ain't scared of nothing, that he can invoke for free one time.
Okay. Now, just so you know,
Is that how that works? Is it one
since
time?
no, let me tell you. Well, let me tell you. Um, since
That's all I
Nelson,
thought it was fake
or since
news.
Freddie, because Nelson didn't do it, Freddie did it. Since Freddie succeeded with style, Well, he was doing an overcome, right? Because that's what you
Right.
wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he gained, since it was an overcome, he gained a boost with that, which is like a temporary
A boost.
aspect.
Okay.
Okay, so ain't
Okay.
afraid of nothing is cool, but both of you guys gotta realize that that's only gonna last for as long as it makes sense. Okay, so if
That's
we
fine.
go to another, just so you know, so if we go to another
Yeah.
scene or something like that, then it's already done deal for. Okay, all right, just so you
Yeah,
know.
no. The boost only lasts the scene
And it's free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
with one free invocation.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
But with that, because doing that voice is really taxing. Give me a minute so I can run and get some more drink.
That's fine. All right. You can take a breather if you want.
Okay. All right.
All right. Intermission, folks.
Welcome, folks, to the Fast Freddy Show. Fast Freddy has returned.
The Fast Freddy Show.
Yeah, this the Fast Freddy Show. You know, I Fast Freddy. My deeds are told throughout the lands.
The swindles come swift and the feet move quick.
Yeah, you know why they call me Fast Freddy is not necessarily that I, get the job done very fast. It's that I am a two-time quick step champion. It's what I've done. It's what my youth consisted of.
But yeah, Fast Freddy, being that he's a chain-smoking badass, who apparently ain't scared of nothing,
I'm scared of
for
nothing.
for the ever briefest of moments, when he felt like something was crawling on his feet, he takes a look at his feet, and he starts examining his shoes, leaning from side to side. He goes,
Man, I'm going to have to get the wingtips polished after this.
All right. So there is in fact nothing wrong with your shoes other than they're getting nasty from that floor.
Okay.
yeah, no, he's commenting that he's going to have to get
Right.
a polish after this.
See, other than that transgression, you're unimpeded to the other end of the room, where the large door sits, and again, you just kind of see this white like mist or fog or something, kind of seeping out around the edges.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. I'll take another look at Freddy, and then I'll reach for the door handle to kind of get a nod of encouragement from him, because this is looking stranger and stranger, and I can only imagine that the scene that ran briefly through my mind was something that I probably only experienced myself, but I'm gonna open this door.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see what's in here. So I kind of give him the nod, and I grasp the handle.
He he'll carefully, with the cigar at hand this time, start rummaging around on the charms on his chest, and he pulls out the pentagram and he.
Sure, I can't interest you.
He says, pagan religions and other things don't interest me very much, my friend.
But, the apparitions, they're not very interested as well, so they tend to stay away. For your own safety, but fine, it's all right, it's all right.
I heft the bat and I say, I'll put my trust in this. Thank you.
So
As crude as it is.
So as you go to pull the handle, it seems to be stuck fast. So you're going to need to make a strength check to pry this open.
Okay. That would be a 1.
A 1. You can't seem to get it open. It seems pretty solid, pretty good where it's at.
After I kind of give it a couple of yanks, and it doesn't seem to move, I kind of sheepishly look towards Freddy and I say, if you don't mind, a hand here.
Strength of youth and all,
Well, it appears the moisture has swollen the door, obviously. So
let me take a look here.
So you said there's smoke and stuff coming from the top crack or all the cracks of the door?
All around it. If you would hold your hand out or something to kind of check it out, it's definitely chill. It's cool to the touch.
Touching the actual door, is the door actually cool as well?
Yes.
All right. Now, getting real close to the door, I'm seeing if I can hear anybody on the other side. Putting my ear up to the door. I just go,
just in case.
It's just a root cellar. What are you doing?
Well, you don't know. Like I said, there might be some still signs of the living. We've seen them everywhere so far. They might be hiding in here. Hold on.
Okay, I nod. I give him some room.
Leading up, see if I hear anything.
You don't really hear anything. Maybe what appears to be the slight humming of a fan.
And I'll start wiggling the handle, turning it left all the way as much as I can, turning it right. It seems to be turning all right, or is the handle, any mechanisms in there sticking or rough?
Yeah, it's the handle itself seems to be, kind of moving all right.
Does this particular door look like it has a keyhole that it could be locked, or?
Mm-mm.
So, Fast Freddy, what he would like to do mechanically in the game is he would like to grab the door handle. Right, he'll put his knife back in his pocket. He'll butterfly it, swing it shut, put it back in his jacket pocket. All right, put his cigar in his mouth and turn the handle all the way one way. Grab his fist with his other hand, and then put his right foot beside the door, by the door frame. And what I want to do is I'm trying to create the advantage, create an advantage that will allow me to apply more force to the door to yank it open.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you create the advantage leverage.
Put some ass into it.
All right. Now I have to roll for that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What am I? Can I choose whatever I want to roll, like whatever stat, or?
It's going to be strength.
What's the target?
Yeah. The target is 2.
Yeah, that's not gonna work out for me.
You got any aspects you can invoke?
No, not for opening doors.
Nothing strength-wise. Okay. No, I mean, you try to be a little creative and see if it flies, but
No. See, I could talk my way out of a box, but I can't punch my way out of a box. See.
Okay, there you go.
Therein lies the difference. So apparently, he tries to get his foot up on the door frame, and it feels a little stuck from the sticky floor. He's like,
Yeah,
as he fails.
Okay, so I see Mr. Freddy is having just as much difficulty and as I did, and I kind of shrug and I say, well, maybe we should just check upstairs for now.
my best days are past me, apparently, it seems. So, You know, growing old ain't always the best of things.
Takes another pull.
Yes, the cigars, buddy. I'll lead the way, and we'll go back through the hallway into the main entryway, and then try our luck upstairs.
Okay. Say going so you're not impeded. Walking down the hallway, you feel a little bit uneasy though. Them eyes on them portraits seem to be watching you, just following your every move. And you get back out into the foyer, and that'll reset the scene. And once again, you're greeted with the same image. The portraits all over the room, and there's the staircase.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking in that voice because apparently I can't keep it up.
Oh, that's fine.
Sorry, man. You get props for it. Get
It was
props.
good while it lasted.
But Fast Freddy, as he's walking by the paintings, I mean, it's a trick that he's used, time and time again in the past. The illusion of the eyes looking at him. He keeps pointing out he goes, look, they're watching us, they're watching us. He goes, yes, I can see, though we might be dealing with other living perpetrators here, there's still signs of the paranormal.
Okay, I nod because I have to admit that this is a strange situation. But like I said, I haven't seen anything with my own two eyes that would definitely cause me to agree with him 100%.
He goes, well, I'll show you. Just wait, and then he'll go and once again start looking behind each painting for for a safe or any receptacle, hidden receptacle of valuables.
All right, I kind of put one foot on the first step of the stairs, and then I stop and I'm watching him because I can't believe he's doing it again.
Yeah, there's no hidden receptacles or compartments of the sort with valuables in them for Freddy to procure for his investigative paranormal purposes.
Yeah, he
Mr.
goes,
Freddy, what are you doing?
Whoa, like I said, they like to hide. If they try to run from me, make sure you have that crucifix handy. It'll block the way.
Okay, I kind of sigh, and but I see that there's no. Obviously, he's so used to going through the motions and doing his thing that I assume it's just part of a habit. Maybe there may be a slight mental trauma of some sort that's happened to him in the past.
oh no, that's gonna happen to us later. That's
If I do it right, anyways.
yeah. So there's nothing behind these paintings.
No.
Again, now examining the paintings for the characters or caricatures and any sort of valuables they might be wearing in the paintings. Any sort of anything that stands out.
You see some of the women, have pearl necklaces on, or some simple jewels. The gentlemen have some cufflinks. Some of them have a family ring or something on.
Now,
But
you said I see something with a family ring.
yeah, like a signet.
Does that family ring look like it could be a type of signet ring, or is there anything on that family ring that might resemble either the F on the note or the signet of the wax seal?
You would notice that it looks pretty similar to the seal pressed into the letters.
So when I get that sort of pang of inspiration, when I notice that, I'll turn to my younger compatriot and just whistle.
Check it out.
Are you serious?
Okay.
And then I'll start, pointing with the cigar holding hand, pointing to the ring and the picture, the painting.
Ah, now this I can understand. Finally, a connection of some sort. And I kind of
Now-
lean in. Okay, go ahead.
You would notice, upon closer scrutinization of the paintings, the ring appears in every one of them. one of the men's fingers.
Now, is it the same man
No,
or is it different men?
different.
Okay.
It would appear that the head of this household possibly wishes to reclaim their lifestyle from their past family members.
But why be so secretive about it? Why not just and what does that have to do with us? I'm no attorney or lawyer, and I know I know what you do.
Well, yes, of course, that's why I'm here.
They'll go on describing sort of.
Yes, they know me in Atlanta on the bay. I'm very well known. I get around.
I'm stopping that again.
That's what I was gonna say. You still trying to do it? Okay.
Yeah, habit. I got into
Um,
character and habit. But
um,
yeah, they know me around. I go about cleansing areas and reclaiming
ah,
material thing. I
okay.
reclaim material things and material places for the material world and the people who live in it. Those of the phantasmal must move on. You see.
Well, as I said, let's take a look uh, upstairs, and if there's no one or anything about up there, then maybe we can go around back and try to see if we can enter that back room from the outside. And if not, then we'll just have to contact the authorities and let them know what we've seen here and be about our way.
You say authorities, and again, like I say, in this instance, I am the authorities here. You see,
Okay.
I
Oh,
have
yeah,
I
okay.
have complete authoritative power
Okay. All right. Okay.
given to me by the state of Kansas.
Kansas. Knowing nothing of his credentials per se, other than what was briefly flashed at me, um, I have, I say, Mr. Freddie, you'll pardon me if you understand that I do have some doubts as to your licensing amongst these parts here, but nonetheless, I defer to your position, sir.
Yeah, he hangs his head a little lower and just shakes it. Young people. So with that, he'll start looking around and adjusting the little charms on his chest, trying to space them out so each one is independently visible.
Okay.
All
And then
right.
he'll reach into his pocket where he has his butterfly knife, but this time he won't take it out. He's just trying to appear confident right now. He's puffing his chest out a little bit to give a little bit more purchase to these charms that he's wearing, though their visibility is quite obscured by all the smoke.
Okay.
And continues on.
Okay. So you're gonna climb the stairs then, I assume.
Yeah, I'm since it looked like it was almost abandoned.
Hmm.
Every step, I put one foot up and just put some weight.
Right. Check
Apply
out
some
every
weight.
step.
Yeah, see if the steps if they'll crack or anything, and if any glances seem to be giving me question, I'll just turn back and he says, well, old house, old house.
Right. So as you climb the stairs, uh, they creak underfoot, and the banister is loose, wiggling in your grip. It's clearly in disrepair. And at the landing, when you reach it, there's a large pair of simple wooden double doors that comes into view, and tarnished brass handles worn from generations of used weight. And to the right is a short hall with a smeared window at its end, and to the left is the other part of the landing that you've seen uh, torn away when you first entered the house. And on the other side of that gap, you see there's another door with about a foot of the landing still like hanging on, jutting out from uh, the wall.
I look I look at that gap and goes, well, I guess we're going this way, and start walking in the other direction.
Okay. All right, I follow. Okay. I kind of look around.
Yeah. Do I see any more paintings or anything in this area, or any. I don't know what they're called personally. I remember, I know what they're called, but I forget what they're called right now. But back in like older homes in the 20s and 30s and stuff, they tend to have like maybe little hall chairs, little hall tables, little decorations for the hall with
right.
items on it.
Nothing that you can see, really. I guess it just like I said, the double doors in front, the short hall to the right, and then the door to the left with the large gap where the balcony's been fell apart or ripped away.
All right, so the one, the large, simple double doors. Right. Again, I'll put my ear to the door, see if I can hear anything.
Silence.
I'll turn one of the handles all the way left, all the way right, making sure. Does the door feel stuck, or does it like try to pop open, loosen up when I turn the handle?
Yeah, you can definitely open the door.
Okay, now I'm assuming since these double doors were right next to the landing in front of the staircase, they must open inward, right?
It's a safe assumption.
Okay, so Freddy will sort of stand back away from the crack and slowly push the door inward and just look.
It slowly.
You gotta catch them by surprise sometimes.
Get the jump on them.
Slowly creaks open, and inside you can see a large room with cobwebs hanging from the corners and spread out in the rafters above. There's large windows on either side, from what you can see, offering a view of the world outside. Bleak though it may be, littered with memoirs of the deceased, and the gray clouds thicken and roil overhead. There's a large rug, strangled in dust, that lay spread out before you, with a faded mural slowly being consumed by moths, depicting a serpent coiled around an apple, with a frail-looking individual reaching out to take it. And a few portraits hang on the wall, and the eyes, the lifeless, emotionless eyes, just watching. And at the far end is a desk with what looks to be perhaps various papers scattered throughout, and a few suits of decorative armor from various times flank this desk.
So I'll begin walking and noticing the painting. Fast Freddy will just mutter out real quickly.
I wonder if this family was Satan worshippers.
And as he says that, try to give a little bit more notice to his voice. He'll start, tapping on the rug as he's walking to see if there's any change in the sound of the floor. Again, searching for, any hidden compartments or safes.
Just the muffled thumping of your foot on the rug and the wood below, muffled by the rug.
All right, and with that, Fast Freddy will start rubbing the soles of his feet on the rug, trying to clean the stickiness that he had gathered on his soles from the floor below.
Okay.
What makes you say or question their religious beliefs?
And he'll point to the mural.
Serpent in the apple. Do you not know the story of the serpent in the apple?
He goes,
No wonder you're so frightened here. That crucifix ain't gonna work for you. Faithless youngin'.
I say there are many religions and myths that allude to serpents and fruit. What makes this so important?
Oh, looks like you went to more than just Sunday school, huh?
It's good to know these things when you're trying to debunk such charlatanism.
He'll make motion to his side, and then in an instant, remembering that he left his bag downstairs, He goes,
I had a charm for this. You know, certain places in India believe that points in the body, chakras and whatnot, you know, they call that when everything is aligned just right, the serpent of light. And you know, the story of the serpent and the apple. You know what Lucifer's name really means, right?
I'm sure you'll tell me regardless, so go right ahead, please.
I do not appreciate that disinterested tone.
and then he'll walk to the mural and start checking behind it before anything else.
Again,
Again?
nothing.
You know, as he's doing so, he's holding his hand out for for his younger compatriot to stay where he is, just in case any spirits decide to escape. Then he'll take a closer once he doesn't find anything behind the painting. He'll take a closer look at it to see if there's any you know, any sort of occult symbology within this mural.
No, not really. It looks as though it might be depicting something along the lines of temptation. The man reaching for the apple is clearly, you know, looks malnourished. He's thin, gangly, and hungry. But you know, obviously the serpent is wrapped around the apple in which he's reaching for. You know, this could be a very loose representation, interpreted in many, many ways.
The
Now-
face doesn't look familiar, does it?
No.
Okay, as in any of the portraits we have seen so far?
Nope.
Okay, all right. Sorry, Nelson, go
So
ahead.
this thin, gangly man, like, is he clothed? Does he seem to be, you know, does this gangly man look like an attempt at a representation of Christ as some sort of profane mural?
Not really. You know, it's a simple white garb, kind of, you know, bedraggled, and it's pretty plain features. You know, on his face. You know, just a John Doe sort of face.
Now, what side is the man on the painting? Is he on the right side or the left side?
The right side, and it's the rug. This is depicted on the large rug on the floor.
Oh, okay. This is depicted on the rug. So he's on the right side. Now, him being on the right side means that when we walked into the room, we walked from the bottom of this mural walking up, right?
Yep.
Now, trying to trace the trajectory of his arm reaching for the apple, I'm looking in that direction from that, you know, that angle somewhere else in the room.
It doesn't seem to be pointing to anything of the sort. You know, like holding a secret indication of, you know, where something may or may not be. It just seems decorative in purpose.
That's what they all seem. You know. And again, well, if there's nothing that it's pointing to, or if I walk in this trajectory and start fiddling around with whatever's there, there's nothing that seems.
Fast Freddy is quite disappointed in his
Yeah.
discoveries.
You know, and it doesn't lead to any of the tables with any papers, right?
Negative.
Okay. Moving. When I get to wherever these armors are, I just knock them to make sure that they're hollow. You know,
Okay.
and if they don't sound hollow, I'll reach into my pocket, pull out my blade, and you know, if these are if they have visored helms, I'll lift the visor with the edge of my blade.
Okay.
Okay. So, as you're doing this, what is Randolph doing?
Well,
He's hanging out.
well, no, I'll make it more interesting than that. He'll actually, after actually eyeballing the representation himself for a moment to see if the face looked familiar. After determining that it doesn't, what he can do is he'll actually go over to. Are there any kind of bureaus or um, any kind of any other any other paintings or any decorations like that in this room at all?
Uh,
Of
yeah,
note.
yeah. You would just see, what looks to be some more portraits of people that perhaps lived in the household or family portraits. Because again, you would notice the signet ring.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's pretty sparse. It's just
Really?
the paintings, the rug, the suits, and then there's the desk with various papers on it. There's
Okay.
a
Okay.
chair sitting there behind it.
Okay, that's what I guess I was thinking of when I said bureau. Okay, so I'll go over to the desk. Is it one of those is it kind of like a fancy wooden like writing desk or is it
Yeah,
okay.
it's a pretty big ornate desk. Got
Hmm.
some nice woodwork on the edges.
Okay.
Um, Again, it is dusty.
Hmm.
Just the remnants of various things scattered throughout it.
Hmm. Okay. I'll go over and examine the desk and see if there's any indications that it may have been used recently. Anything moved, disturbing the dust on it? Is there like a any kind of maybe a pen or anything with any recent writing or maybe an inkwell that isn't dried up or any indications that maybe someone's been sitting here recently or anything like that?
Um, the the desk looks, for the most part, undisturbed. There is a
Okay.
quill uh, dipped into an inkwell, and there
Hmm.
is still some ink in it. It's not dry.
Really? Okay. All right. That's of importance. Okay. Um, I when I see that, I look and see if there any papers with any writings on them there then on the desk.
There, there is, in fact.
Okay.
You would see, if rummaging through the papers,
Hmm.
a good portion of them are receipts, that just
Hmm.
detail, some general day-to-day spending,
Hmm.
keeping track of funds.
Okay.
Um,
Are
and
that?
amongst, what's that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And amongst those, you would notice there are a few death certificates among them. The one in particular would probably stand out. It's got the insignia, of the church emblazoned on it, and the name Father C. Howitzer at the bottom.
Okay, I'll take a glance over at Fast Freddy just to make sure he's still occupied, and I will pull out my letter and see if any of the writings of the letter match any of these scrawlings of like the death certificates or anything like that. See if there's a match.
Uh, it does look quite similar.
That's good enough for me. I won't mull over because obviously I've discovered a flaw in this, and of course I'm proud of myself. Giving myself a pat on a mental pat on my own back as aha. And then lastly, what I'll do is I'll look at the dates on the death certificate and see if they are they members of this family. Does the name start with the F?
No, none of them strike you as significant at all. The dates are varied. The most recent one, however, would probably be the Father C. Howitzer, and it looks as though it was written according to the date, um, at least 3 weeks prior to your current visitation.
Wow, that's it. Okay, very interesting. And Father Howitzer is the one who signed off on these death certificates. That's what you're saying?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry, I
that's not what I'm
misunderstood.
saying. Not what I'm saying at all.
So how is he connected to these death certificates then? I don't understand.
That's for you to find out.
So, okay, so if I see the death certificate and there's person X on here saying they died on this date, then where is the father's name? How is his name written on these death certificates then? Did he attend, did he officiate over the giving his seal, his signature on the death certificate, or in what? You understand what I'm asking?
Right, you do know that this is the house of the groundskeepers, and
Right.
and it's likely their job to take care of
Right.
the day-to-day affairs of
Right.
writing death certificates, burying people,
Right.
things of the sort. So,
Mhm.
and the writing on the certificate matches the letter, so you can assume that whoever was filling these out obviously wrote the letter as well.
Right,
But
right.
as far as who that is,
No, yeah, but I'm just okay. So does last question then? So does the priest's signature is there anything similar comparatively speaking with his signature and the invitation letter that we both got? How about that? Is that fair?
the well, no, the signature it was signed. Uh, I said that it's not the priest himself who signed it. It's the
Oh, okay.
priest. It's his death certificate. The priest is dead.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Now I understand. Okay. All right. Okay, I gotcha. Okay. All right. That's what was confusing me. Okay.
Okay, my
Um,
bad.
no, that's all right. Okay. So I will actually with my sullied handkerchief, I will dust off the chair at the desk, and I will sit down and cross my legs with the paperwork in my hands, and I will calmly watch Fast Freddy as he obviously wastes his time finding the clues since I have done so.
Well, as Fast Freddy is poking around in these suits of armor, uh, they all appear empty, but suddenly there's a cold metallic hand that rests on his shoulder from one of the previously examined suits of armor, and the cobwebs above in the rafters seem to grow and squirm along. Strands begin to fall to drape across the room, slowly covering everything. And as you look up, the ceiling rises, darkness enveloping the wooden beams, and again the skittering can be heard. And 8 red eyes peer down at you from above. And again the darkness spreads, running down the walls like tar. And the cobwebs grow thicker, the strands falling faster. Everything is draped in silk, and you feel it begin to tighten around you as if to smother you. And the suits of armor rustle, and from inside one of the helms that Freddy is currently looking at, eyes peer back at you, and blood begins to seep from the joints of the suit, and it lurches forward as if reaching out to grab you. So if you would both roll me some overcome.
All right, now if we make the overcome, do we still experience this, or this is what we experience only if we fail?
You'll find out.
Good answer. Very good answer.
Well, I was gonna react first, but I guess I have to wait to react now.
Well, yeah, well,
Yeah, 2.
Okay.
what type of overcome are we rolling?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should. It's will.
Oh, okay. Okay, here you go. So that is a minus 1.
What's
Yep.
that on your screen, David? Oh, there it is. You
Yeah.
got -1.
Yeah. So that was an overcome. So I can either fail to achieve my goal with narrative consequences, or I can succeed with a serious cost.
Okay.
So what I will do then is just to give you put you on the spot as the Fate GM. I'm gonna succeed, but at a serious cost. So the cost is up to you. You don't have to tell me what it is right now. It can affect me now, later, whenever. But
Okay.
so what happens?
The cost is the mental stress. These horrid images that are permeating your analytical mind is just going against your common sense. It just doesn't sit well with you, and you're feeling extremely uneasy, and you would end up suffering. Was it a shift? A shift of damage? Is that what it is?
Okay. Yeah. So I would cross off one stress box.
Yeah, stress box.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You said it right.
And then,
Okay. So, all right.
and you're still having failed. You're still seeing this. It's just it's unnatural. It doesn't make sense, I guess. And you would notice out of the corner of your eye, though, as well, that Freddy seems a little frazzled, taken aback, likely, perhaps seeing something of his own, and Freddy too failed. So yeah, you're also seeing all of this.
So does it
And
appear as though he's still in the grasp of one of the suits of armor, or?
yeah, it looks as though one of the suits is reaching out, cold, dead eyes peering from underneath the visor at him and grabbing him.
Yeah, the
All right.
very first reaction, though, that Freddy will do, the very first initial reaction, especially that he does see all this, is that when he's lifting up the visor and sees eyes peering back,
Mhm.
he's going to just shove his knife into the helmet, whatever's there, and just be like, very first reaction.
All right. I will actually tip over in the chair since I failed so horribly, and actually knock over a bunch of stuff off the table and find myself on the floor. Kind of
Okay.
scooting backwards, towards the wall.
Right. All right. So yeah, you hear this clatter as well as Randolph falls over in shock, and thrusting the knife into the helmet. You do feel it sink though, like into something as though it's piercing the flesh. Uh,
Yeah,
and then
he'll do so repeatedly and then turn around and swing his knife like an X, in wild X patterns to strike whoever was grabbing him and assaulting him from behind. Or whatever.
Okay.
He's just like, "Ah!" And you tell me how what that results in.
Yeah, you end up, you're flailing around and swinging and smashing and stabbing into this stuff, and then you're just crazy defense mechanism. You end up knocking over a few of the suits of armor around you. One falling down, landing, dangerously close to Randolph, and
As it falls down next to Randolph,
yeah,
I'll just be like,
dangerously close to
"Get him,
Randolph.
youngin', get him!"
The one that you were stabbing at, and you see Randolph as this happens, as it falls next to you, and as you turn to look at it, you see what looks like the helmet turning to look back at you. His cold, lifeless eyes just staring in your direction.
I yell out just a chilling, terrifying yell because I've never actually encountered anything like this before, and it's difficult for me to process it, and it just has to be. I have to be imagining this, it just has to be in my mind. But I will just blindly kind of strike out with the bat, more or less just kind of as a reflex, as opposed to me, being in control of myself. You know what I mean? It's like, if a bee or a wasp comes in your face, how you just swat at it before you can think about it. That's kind of what I do.
Okay. So, striking out of this armor, you smack it in the helmet, end up slamming the visor back shut. And as you do, as you close the visor, the room, the image seems to wane and almost like fade away like a heat mirage. And suddenly you're back to your senses, and you see yourself laying on the floor. The suit of armor next to you. Freddy flailing around with his butterfly knife, hacking at everything.
Yeah,
But
Freddy's spinning around back and forth, just scanning the room rapidly to make sure he's not being surrounded by anyone trying to assault him.
strangely enough, though, Randolph, the armor is still watching you.
I still see eyes within there. Is that what you're saying?
Still
Literally?
see eyes inside the armor.
I kind of jump up off the floor and I point at the armor and Freddy, I see it, but it can't be. It can't be. And I point.
I'm like, hold him down, boy, hold him down.
That ain't gonna happen, bro.
I raise the knife up. I actually spin it around instead of doing slashing or stabbing. I'm holding it, the blade at the bottom, coming from just beyond my from the back part of my palm. Hold him down, boy, hold him down. And I'm pointing at it with my two fingers in my right hand, still holding my cigar.
Okay.
And then I'm motioning like how young girls would do in getting ready to jump into the ropes of a double dutch. I'm motioning like to jump out at this suit of armor, but I keep yelling out, "Hold him down, boy! Hold him down!"
Okay.
Well, there's no way I'm doing that, because I can't believe this, and like I said, it still has to be, there has to be a logical explanation for it.
It's not moving. It's not making any, movement.
Well, if I still see eyes there, I mean,
yeah.
I still have to be, it has to be a trick of my imagination or the light, or a glint of something off the helm of the armor, something. There has to be some logical reason for it.
I start kicking it at its feet.
Okay, okay. So I'm still standing there. I'll be next to the window, kind of clutching at the dusty and moldy curtains,
Right.
And just eyes wide, just still looking to see what happens next.
If the armor doesn't
Kicking
move,
the armor, there's no response other than the slight shuffle and clatter, the metal and leather.
yeah, then I'll work my way up as I'm kicking it, still just ready to pounce at whoever is in the armor until I get to the helmet, and then I start kicking the head. And if there's
No
nothing or
response.
no one in the armor, does the helmet remain on the armor?
Yeah. There's no response, but it's definitely heavy. It's not hollow.
Well, once I see Freddy kind of pounding on this armor without any kind of reaction, I kind of compose myself, in what way I can, and I push away from the window and walk over to him and kind of poke at the armor with the bat as well. And I could have sworn I saw something.
Calm down, boy. Calm
Down, boy, calm down. Self-defense. When the judge asked, we were acting self-defense. Now let's see what poor bastard tried to fuck with Fast Freddy.
And I go to try to remove the helmet.
All right. Yeah. As you would pull the helmet back, you are immediately greeted with the rotting visage of a man staring at you through long dead, bloated eyes.
I
What
look,
is it, Freddy? What is it?
Clink.
Not, your young heart, strong, but,
I kneel down because I can tell he's hesitating because I gotta see, and I kind of kneel down there and I'll push the visor up.
So you would also see the visage of a man, decaying flesh and bloated eyes staring back at you, lifeless, inside this suit of armor.
I kind of fall back, kind of exhausted, like what? I look at Freddy.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
well, you see, there must be something in the type of metals that they use that rapidly decays the flesh.
Freddy, why
I
is
would.
there a
I
dead
left my
man?
resource material downstairs, but I still self defense. Self.
Why is there a dead man in
As
this
his hand
armor?
is starting to shake slightly.
We need to go. We need to get out of here.
Um, were the sets of armor when they
Mhm.
were postured up in their decorative fashion.
Hmm.
Um, and many occasions sets of armor usually come with shields, and the shields are.
They were. If you talk about the weaponry, there were two of them were holding halberds, the backmost two and the frontmost two. Had arms set, posture, with a shield clutched in the hand and a sword blade down. Um, the crest on the armor uh, looks to be pretty old. Um, Closer observation, would convey that it is quite similar in design, to the rings that you've been seeing on the pictures, as well as the wax seal.
Okay, so the coat of arms of the signet looks derivative of the coat of arms.
Correct.
All right. You said that there were holding swords, right?
Two had swords, two had halberds. One you knocked over had a halberd.
Yeah,
Well, you
I'm
knocked
putting.
them fucking all over, so.
Well, now the one whose face I stabbed. I mean, he must be on the floor too, right?
Yes, yeah, they're all knocked over. His
Yeah.
is the
I
only one
put
that's
I
still
put
like
the knife in
intact,
my
though.
pocket and grab a sword.
Okay, okay,
And then I start holding the sword like if it's a baseball bat.
okay.
Obviously, no skill with the blade, but
Right.
it's a bigger knife.
Bigger knife. Correct.
Yeah. And then that's actually what I say to my younger compatriot as I grab the sword, and he must be giving me an odd stare. I just turn to him and say,
Bigger knife.
I get up from kneeling next to the body, and after looking around again, um, I do have I remember the papers, that fell to the floor, and I go over to the desk and pick up the papers, and then I turn to Freddie and I say, we need to leave here now.
Okay.
then Fast Freddy or Black,
One moment. After you. After you.
Okay, all right, I'll
And,
start making my way towards
yeah,
the
he'll
door.
put his cigar in his mouth, and then with his newly freed right hand, reach into a coat pocket and pull out a handkerchief,
Hmm.
and then he'll just start wiping the armors and
I don't think
stuff.
they had. Did they have what you call this back then? Check for
Handkerchief?
fingerprints? No, no. Did they check for fingerprints back then in the 30s, early 30s? I don't know if they did.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I don't think they did.
You sure?
No, I'm not. That's up to the GM. I don't think they did, but I'm not sure.
No,
No,
I'm not 100%
I
sure.
don't think it was quite around yet.
forensics wasn't there.
Okay.
It wasn't quite that big then. Didn't occur to them.
All right. See, but I must
Freddy's
have
ahead
read,
of
I
ahead of
must
the
have read
times,
about
man.
it in theoretical studies,
Okay, there you go.
just in case.
Okay. All right. While he's cleaning up after himself, I'll open the door and kind of stick my head out and kind of look down the hall to make sure it's clear. And then when I do that, I'll turn again, and if he's still wiping, I'm gonna tell him, "Hey, let's go."
Yeah, he'll go. When Freddy walks away, he's leading his way with the tip of that blade.
Well, despite this traumatizing experience, Randolph is a cocky adjunct with something to prove. So I'm going to compel you to go down the short hallway and check out those other rooms.
Very good. I will do so just for the structure of this game, and because it's good, I will take the fate point and roll with it. So I hesitate for a moment, and instead of making a left to go towards the stairs leading down, I'll make a right.
Okay.
Did I hear something?
So, uh, as you go down, it's a short hallway, and again, there's a smeared window. Again, looking out onto this dreary scene, and it's noticeably darker out. As the sun begins to wane, and the gray clouds, are thickening and rolling. The storm nearly upon this town.
Yeah,
And
I'm heading
two
downstairs.
there's two doors. Okay,
Hold
there's two
on, hold
doors.
on. I am
You're
going
heading
to
off by yourself.
compel. I'm going to compel Fast Freddy's chain smoking badass aspect. So if he has the fate point, he can buy me off. But other than that, you gotta take it, bro.
Yeah, I'll take. Okay, he'll
Okay.
start heading. He'll start heading to the steps, and he'll stop. He'll drop his shrinking cigar on the floor. Then at the very cusp of this landing, standing, the wingtips of his shoes just floating above that first step down, so close to continuing away, seeing this young man continue press this investigation. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out the small silver case, another cigar, another match lit,
Endless supply of these stogies.
because he's a chain smoking badass.
See, how can you tell me that doesn't encourage role play? There you go, perfect example right there.
And then he just can't let the young man die alone. And,
Hey,
grabs
that's
the
not where I
sword
was
once
going with that.
he grabs the sword once again and starts right down that shorter hall right after Randolph.
Okay. So again, you see the same thing. The smeared window looking out. Clouds thickening, storm coming in, and there's two doors to your left. Both simple. Nothing
Are there
flashy
two
about
separate
them.
doors or are there a
Yes,
double
there are
door?
two separate doors.
All right, let's. Maybe I heard the noise from the first one closest to me, so I'll go for that one. Your choice, GM's choice.
Okay. Um, so the one closest to you, you open it.
I
And
kind of turn to Freddy and I say, I think I heard something in here, and I'll kind of open it up and enter.
Okay.
Yeah, Freddy will hold the sword two-handed like a baseball bat again. He starts to wiggle it like a baseball bat, like a batter just about to get up to plate. And he goes,
Let there be some fool standing there.
So as you open the door, you see inside the room is an oak armoire and a dresser with a large mirror in an ornate frame, the likeness of flowers and other such filigree carved into its edges. And a four-post bed is pressed against the far wall, opposite the dresser and armoire, a veil hanging from its post, shrouding the mattress and pillows from view.
yeah, just as the door fully opens, before either of us attempt to make any motion inward, Freddy will cock the sword back really quick, as if to strike, and then he goes,
That's what I thought.
takes another pull.
Okay. Um, I kind of take a decent. I don't know how if it's very hard to see into this room, but it looks like from what you told us, we can see fairly well. So I don't see anything that appears to be of note in my glancing around. Um, so I will close the door and then proceed to the next one. And kind of, I know the floor is like creaking, like crunching bones underneath our feet, but I make an attempt to kind of tiptoe-ish towards the next door and open it.
Okay.
Hold up, as he's attempting to close the door, because he compelled my chain smoking badass. He'll actually put his foot just just beside the edge of the door so it doesn't close all the way. Right. Take another pull from his brand new cigar.
He goes, nah, we've come too far, youngin'.
And then rest his foot all the way down, using the momentum of that to push the door slightly open again and just let it go.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Shall we?
Okay. I kind of give him a quizzical, a look, and then I shrug. And go in.
Okay. So yeah, you go in, Freddy, and you see the same thing.
Yeah.
Look around.
He'll stab with the sword underneath the bed. First thing, in case anybody's hiding under there.
You're greeted
Always
with
check under
air.
the bed.
Yeah, nothing seems to be awry, lurking and waiting under the bed like a boogeyman.
He ain't looking for no boogeyman. But yeah. And you said there was no like closets or armoires in here, right?
Yeah, there was a dresser and an armoire.
Um. I'm gonna check out the armoire. There are no armors in here, right? I'm looking for armors.
For armors.
That's just what he looks like he's looking for. He's looking for armors, just in case.
Okay,
And
I gotcha.
upon not seeing any, he's on the defensive now.
Okay.
And he's looking around, looks back at his younger compatriot.
Just in case any fools want to jump out, gotta be ready.
Okay. I kind of watch, but this room appears to be such a size that there can't be anything in here. Looks empty.
So you've been poking around, checking stuff out, Freddy, and looking and stuff.
Yeah, just in case. I mean, the armoire doesn't. It's a simple armoire. It's not like a closet, right?
Right. Yeah,
So it's not like anybody can hide in there.
No.
So after that, he'll make his way out of that room.
Okay.
And as they leave, he'll close the door behind them.
I'm going to compel. Actually, Randolph.
What?
It wasn't a very thorough inspection, and his mind is his tool of choice. So
Okay.
he's going to dig around further.
Okay, towards the armoire.
The dresser seemed to have gone untouched.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And at that, I will put my finger up and tap the bridge of my nose, and I'll point towards the dresser, and I'll walk that way. And then if there's nothing on top of the dresser, I'll start checking the drawers, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah, looking around in the drawers, there's some moth, eaten clothes. But tucked away, you find what looks to be like a small leather-bound book of sorts, perhaps a journal.
Aha! I'll place the journal on top of the dresser, kind of sending up a small poof of dust, and kind of waving it away in front of my face. I open the journal and begin to peruse the pages therein.
Okay. Yeah, looking through the journal, nothing immediately catches your eye, but the last passage in the journal seems to stand out, and it reads, "For
And I
countless."
I read it aloud so
Read
that
it aloud.
yep.
For countless generations, we have seen to the cemetery grounds, making sure the departed rest in peace. However, something of late I fear disturbs them. I can feel them stir. I have seen the ground quiver. heard them scratching, straining against the coffins that confined them. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it was not long after that hag came to town this began. I must talk to Father Christoph about this. Surely he will know what to do.
All right, at that, I slowly close the journal and turn towards Freddy. And bursting from the ground? What could that mean?
Now, as you're looking at him, Freddy, Randolph, you see in the mirror, standing behind you by either shoulder, looking down, is a woman and a man. However, Randolph, you would not see this. You're looking directly at Freddy. Did you make an overcome roll for me, Will?
Which one of us, me or
Freddy.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hot damn.
So yeah, yeah. You know what?
What's your will?
It's 2. It's 2.
Okay.
My will is 2, and for fun's sake, I will not invoke anything. Let me know what happens.
Okay. So yeah, that's a tie. So you succeed, with a minor cost. You kind of stumble back a little bit, rattled, and trip over yourself, and end up in the bed, ripping down one of the veils as it falls over and shrouds your form.
Yeah, almost as a reaction, Freddy. Once the veils fall upon him, he starts swinging out, panicking, cutting them away with this sword, and then he'll roll out and climb and start stomping down on the veils, because apparently his brand new cigar, just freshly lit, is wrapped up in there somewhere, and as to not burn down the house with him still in it, he'll start stomping on the veils to put it out.
Okay.
And he'll gasping.
What is it? What do you see? What?
Lit cigar. Can't let the place burn down with us in it,
I hold up the journal and kind of shake it at Freddy, and I say, "This is more proof of the insanity and the madness that's going on here. We need to go."
It's like, yeah. Let's get the hell up out of here.
Okay. Finally, we agree on something.
He'll tilt his hat, he'll tilt his head, then pull the brim of his hat ever so slightly, and almost in concert, just before the strike of a lightning bolt, he looks his younger compatriot Randolph dead in the eyes and goes,
"Age before beauty."
It starts making his way out.
Okay. All right. Duly noted.
So, as you guys scurry out of there and descend the stairs, you hear what seems to be footfalls also descending a set of stairs, and a door close. And looking around at the bottom of the stairs, you notice tucked away behind a cabinet that you didn't before see, what looks to be like a door, and light seeps out around the edges of it, beckoning to you.
Not to me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. At this point, it sounds like we need to get
I
out of
hit the
Dodge.
bottom of them stairs and that sticky floor, and I'm like,
I'll get him polished later.
Well,
making my way back through the kitchen, back out, back to my bag.
well, I mean, Fast Freddy is a chain-smoking badass. So
And as you saw, his
I
cigars
would-
is
running low. I would like to compel Fast Freddy, being a chain-smoking badass and all that, to go check out what's going on there. I mean, you can shut me down, spend some fate points.
Here's another. Just let me suggest something. Here's something else too. You
Okay.
could always just to try to not feel like you're kind of abusing, the same aspect over and over again. Another one probably that might make sense in this situation is that cash is more real than.
Right. Yeah, cash is more real than money,
So
buddy.
there's a hidden door back there, probably
There's
holding some
hidden-
valuables.
You've been looking for hidden goodies this whole time.
Sorry, Freddie.
It's more real than money.
no,
Who
it's all
knows?
good. It's all good. It's all good.
No, I'm just trying to,
He starts running out.
I'll get him polished later. But
Stand up straight.
it is gonna cost.
And he's looking off in the distance, just going through his own mind, tallying up whatever goodies must be behind this door that's apparently hidden. And he'll start grabbing now without the cigar in his hand. His hand, every single last one of his 10 fingers grip this sword, sort of just as you could hear, if you could hear his skin just tightening around this blade, the hilt of this blade, so hard.
Okay. So,
And he yells out to Randolph,
Youngin! We ain't done here yet. Those sons of bitches.
and he'll point the sword, just two-handed, straightforward like that. No, still with apparently no skill with the blade, looking more like he's pointing towards the outfield, as if he's saying that he's about to hit a home run. Points to that door, points to that cupboard, that behind the cupboard, and a light mysteriously shining through, almost framing what seems to be a door behind it.
We may not like what's behind that door. Are you sure you want to continue on this madman's quest?
And he brings the sword close and reaches for his chest pocket where his wallet was, and he's just like, to his younger compatriot, to Randolph, it almost seems like he's rubbing his chest, maybe feeling for his heartbeat, trying to steady himself, but in actuality he's just sort of feeling his wallet, knowing that the wallet is not bulging as much as it could be right now, and he can't leave this estate, this house, where there's armor, there's history, there's generations of previous owners buried outside, paintings, signet rings. There must be something valuable in this house. Then he turns, to his younger compatriot. He turns to Randolph and just says,
You youngins. You have no moxie anymore.
and I think he too will compel the fact that he has something to prove.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'll as Freddie seems to bolster himself and determined to go through this concealed room that we missed before. Randolph kind of swallows, kind of gulps, and he can't. He just doesn't think that he'd be able to face himself, having gone through the what they've gone through with this this bizarre old man that he's kind of befriended in this situation, and not only does he not want to think about how he was bested by Freddy, but also that ultimately, without hopefully sacrificing their lives, the truth needs to be found here. So his tool of choice is still his mind. So he will follow behind Freddy as they go through the door.
Okay.
Yeah, getting this dresser drawer or this cupboard out of the way of this lit door. Almost, as trying to bolster himself, trying to seem more confident than he is. Seem more as instead of his greed driving him, trying to get the green out of his eyes, at least enough so that his younger compatriot can't see. He reaches back, searching through his pockets, pulls out a small piece of chalk, and starts drawing, occult symbols and circles and sigils.
Okay.
Just in case, always be prepared. And like I said, remember, tell the judge self-defense.
So as
as he's drawing that, right before opening, he'll take a step back from the door. He'll grab both hands around the hilt of this blade, pull it back like a baseball player. Once again, he'll get into position. He'll pivot off his right foot, cock himself to the side, put his left foot a little forward, just ready for that home run swing. And he says to he says to Randolph,
Remember what I said about age before beauty? Yeah, you can forget that.
Gets himself ready to swing at anything if it comes out from behind that door.
Okay.
So, as you open the door, the darkness greets you, along with the familiar moldy smell that permeates the residence.
Oh, wait, really quick. You said that there was a light coming from behind this door. When it's open, it's dark.
It's dark.
Okay.
Rickety-looking wooden stairs, with rusting nails poking out from between them, present themselves, and the inky blackness below looms up as if to swallow you whole.
Yeah. Seeing as how, what?
I was just going to ask you, do you go down the steps?
Yeah. Well, before all that, his intense greed, filling him up, and knowing that he left his flashlights foolishly behind, even though he was prepared, he now isn't. He'll reach for his handkerchief. He'll reach for his book of matches. He'll impale the handkerchief. No, he'll wrap the handkerchief around the sort of first quarter of this sword, and then he'll light it a bit.
Okay.
And then when the edge of his handkerchief takes light, he'll grab the hilt of the blade again, two hands firmly pointed forward, and start shining the light in, and looks to Randolph.
After you, buddy.
All right. Okay. I'll grip the baseball bat and actually, perhaps unknowingly, reach into his underneath his coat and actually pull out the small silver cross there on the chain and head down the steps.
Okay. As you descend the stairs into that inky blackness, you notice what looks to be coffins in various shapes and sizes along the wall. Some quite ornate,
Of course.
others plain.
Can I interject just really quickly?
Oh, go ahead.
All right. As noticing Randolph grab his crucifix, as Randolph begins to walk, and Freddy begins to walk behind him. Freddy starts ushering out these words.
Lo, that I walk through the shadow of the valley of death.
But he goes,
Lo, that we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. We shall fear no evil. Right, youngin'?
I kind of look back over my shoulder, and I don't think really a reply is really needed at this point. I'll swallow again the lump in my throat and then continue down the stairs, just waiting for one of the coffins to lids to open up.
So you you notice, like it's a summer ornate.
and while he's looking at the coffins, he'll tip his hat up
Okay.
a little bit above, like right about here, above his hairline, just to make sure that he has perfect and clear view of what he's seeing now. Because apparently, his slightly obstructed view was playing tricks with him
Right.
moments ago. He needs to be, there's people here intending to do him harm, so he's keeping an eye out now.
All right. So yeah, you notice, yeah, like I said, they're made from various woods too. Some are oak, some are mahogany, and there's a bench with tools scattered along it and some nails, up against the wall, and timber leans next to it. And the faint smell of smoke seems to permeate the area. And as you move further into the room, the sound of crackling wood whispers to you. In another door, light seeping from its frame as well, on the far wall beckons to you. A light in this inky black darkness, and you hear it for the first time. Help me.
And then you hear in reply, "Screw you."
If you would rock me out and overcome, will save.
Man, you know what? You know what? um, just to be funny, I too will invoke cash is more real than ghosts.
Okay.
Because ghosts aren't real. The only way that people think ghosts are real are individuals such as myself. This I know for a fact.
Of course.
So yeah, I'm spending a fate point to invoke that to add a +2.
What's that put you at?
Which will give me a 5 total.
Okay.
Okay.
What has Randolph got over there? That's a lot of minuses.
That's a -1 again. And logically speaking or thinking, I hear that voice crawl out of the darkness into my mind, and I don't know what the heck that's all about. So until I can basically see what's going on, I am going to say that I stop in my tracks, and that I will actually, you know what? Let's see. Let me think. Let's see if I can do this. I will say that because logic is all the proof I need.
Okay.
Hearing a voice, although it is hella creepy coming out of the darkness, I'm gonna invoke that, and I'm gonna say that until I know what or who is behind this voice, I'm still going to try to get to the bottom of the situation. So I'm gonna just re-roll. That's all I'm gonna do, because I know I'll never be able to do anything with that roll anyway.
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
gonna
pretty
spend. Yeah, I'll spend the
horrendous
fate
failure.
point. But that's good though, because that makes you okay. Well, that's still a 3. So
All right. Yeah, you. Yeah, that's a fail. The target number is 4.
okay.
So I believe Freddy's good to go.
Okay. So, well, I don't know what, I don't know. You said this is a overcome. So, if that's a fail, then I don't have any other aspects that I could that I can invoke to bump it up anymore. I don't think so that uh um well, regardless, either I can fail or I can succeed at a serious cost. So I'll say that being that he still wants to try to get to the bottom of this, I want to succeed with the serious cost so I can keep moving forward if possible. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So, young and driven, a thesis that needs to be written. Uh, you muster up the courage to move along. However, all these strange happenings that just go against this logical thinking has caused you to develop a case of paranoia.
It makes sense to me.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll kind of whip the bat around, trying to find out where the source of this voice is, and kind of like now I'm kind of like jumping as I peer into the shadows, you know, kind of dodging and kind of gingerly stepping between these coffins, almost as if, like I said, I expect any one of them to just fly open, and pull me into its depths.
All right. So yeah, Freddie, you definitely noticed that Randolph is just jittery on his toes now. He eyes darting and dodging around, knuckles white clenched around the bat, ready to just swing on anything. And you're a little put off by this strange voice, beckoning in the darkness and seeing across the way once more, this orange light just filtering through the frame of this door in the darkness of the basement.
Yeah. Freddie will turn to his younger compatriot once again. And
Stay alert, boys. Stay alert. We needed more of that moxie back upstairs. It would have never got the jump on us.
as he does so, he starts lining his hands around these coffins, and
I think we should make sure that there are no more people hiding in these things, just in case. Just in case.
But obviously his methods and motives behind that is to see if maybe there's any hidden treasures.
Hidden fucking compartments, right? There's none.
No, he'll open the coffin lids just one by one, shining
Okay.
his little makeshift light on the tip of the blade, pointing the tip downwards, just in case
And-
if there is anybody moving around in there, he will stab them too sweet. Otherwise, making note of any valuables he might find inside of any of these things.
As you're opening, these coffin lids and peering around inside, you see no bodies or anything, just velvet inlay waiting for its next occupant.
All right. Well, seeing nothing, he goes,
Oh, we're all good here. We're all good.
Are you sure? And you see Randolph has a slick sheen of sweat on his face now. And you see he kind of tugs at his collar, trying to loosen it.
yeah, as he sees Randolph starting to panic, he'll go to his tie. He'll start adjusting his tie, more not so much as to loosen it, but to after all this swinging and running and chaos, it has gotten a little out of place. So he's putting it back in place, trying to portray this sort of air of calm, And as he's doing so, you can see the charms just underneath his hand, swaying back and forth, being disturbed. And then he'll lay them out again, spacing them as properly as he can, puff out his chest. He goes,
Now I know. You wish you took me up on that offer, huh?
so yeah, so he'll start walking to the door. He goes,
Get ready, son.
and does the door push or pull?
Pushes.
It pushes? Okay, so then what he'll do is he'll turn the knob enough to disengage the mechanism from the
Okay.
door, right?
Right.
Reach back, hold the sword, two-handed again, getting
Mhm.
ready to swing, stab, or otherly just give someone a very bad day if they
Right.
are hiding behind this door. And then he'll kick it open.
Okay. So you kick it open, and it's dark inside the room, other than the light emanating from your sword torch. Uh, and inside you see two tables, a large shelf full of what appears to be ornate vases, some metal, some clay, and porcelain. And the smell of burning flesh and singed hair begins to seep into your nostrils. And a huge oven stands across the way, all brick and mortar, with a large iron door on its front. And sweat begins to bead on your forehead.
Yeah, I'll lift my hat a little bit further and just, as I no longer have my handkerchief available to me, just and then put it down, resting it just above my hairline again. Turn to Randolph, be like,
You smell that, boy?
of, of course I do. How could I not?
That's yeah, you got me. I don't know what the hell that is. Burning bodies in here.
Who would be doing that, and why?
he'll start,
Uh,
I kind of start looking around.
wiping. You, there's obviously he didn't just get done eating, but he's wiping away at his mouth, nervously, as if he's trying to wipe away some food or saliva or something that's apparently not there. Just he'll then reach into his inside jacket pocket, pulling out the note, and then starts looking at it intently, almost as in response to Randolph's query about who could be doing that.
Let's see here.
Oh, while you see that, Freddy will flash back, remembering the first time he decided to open this note. Being in one of these speakeasies, these underground clubs, a bottle of gin on the table. He's got a woman on either side of him, apparently splurging, his good works paying off so well in the past. Sitting there in the same suit that he's wearing now, the same hat, looking good as ever. One of the women just looking quizzically, oh, Freddy, trying to ham it up. Obviously, putting himself as a bigger man than he is, splurging more than he should. Ellen reaches into his pocket, similarly as he just did. He'll pull out that note, wrapped up, still sealed, seal unbroken. He goes,
you see, Freddy here is an important person.
he then hands it to the woman and goes,
Come on, sweetheart, open that for me, will you?
reaches for his glass of gin, on the rocks, of course, pulls it up to his lips, takes a sip,
That's good.
puts his glass down, and almost in the same fashion as he was a moment ago, wiping his mouth, he pulls his handkerchief to start wiping whatever little spittle and gin happened to cross the side. And just as the seal breaks in his flashback, he's brought back to reality, back into this dark corridor, no longer smelling the gin at his lips, the perfume of the woman surrounding him, the music playing. He just smells that burnt flesh smell, the cold, hearing thunder, rain, almost hearing his heartbeat in his ears. feeling it. And trying to steady himself. You know, he just closed his eyes and can see his wallet full. Dollar bills. Like, turns to Randolph.
Young man, I think we must press on.
Where is there to press on through the inky darkness?
Well, it's lit up by the little
Well,
burning handkerchief. So,
yeah, right. Which probably even makes things look creepier.
so he tries his best
While
to
you,
gain an imposing pose, putting one hand on his waist and standing almost just to bare one side towards the end of this hall, one side facing this metal door in the distance, pointing the blade with the burning handkerchief at its front quarter, downward to the hall.
Onward, young man, onward.
Okay, I'll wow. Just not even able to keep the baseball bat level in front of me, and kind of turning to the left and to the right, just almost just like to the point where Freddie probably should give him a little leeway to let him get ahead of him, so that he doesn't get whacked by the bat. Randolph kind of moves towards this door and takes a look at it. What does it look like?
so as you enter the room, Randolph, sweat too begins to bead on your brow, and
It's beaten.
your clothes grow damp and begin to cling to you, and it's hot. You can see again light flickering, though it comes from around the edges of the oven's iron door. And there's a banging, the sound of ringing metal. And again, louder, the latch on the oven door rattles, and the metal begins to glow orange. Your skin is hot, slowly turning red. And there's a banging again, harder, faster. The iron door shakes and rattles, and with it the very foundation rumbles, and dust falls from overhead and thickens and grows, and smoke fills the room as your flesh grows hotter. And as you look at your hands, blisters appear, and slowly it begins to bubble. The iron door now cherry red, waves of heat rolling off of it. And I will need Randolph to throw me some overcome.
Okay, all right. As I was walking into the closer and closer, I kind of slide out of my overcoat and let it fall to the ground because of the oppressing heat, And he kind of wipes his forehead with his forearm, leaving a wet mark across his suit coat sleeve, and he moves closer, and I will make my roll. Oops, a minute. Wow. Okay, so that is a 1. Okay. And as he gets closer, his eyes kind of lock on the door, and he whimpers.
That is a serious fail. And I believe you will take a shift of damage, right? Is that right?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. If you say so, yeah. Okay. So I'm all out of shifts. All I got are my consequences now. Just so you know.
So that would have been
If
target
it was just
number
one
was
shift.
the target number was 5. So I'm not.
Okay. So that's 4 shifts then. That's the difference between the target number and what I rolled. So my
Okay.
final roll was a 1. So that's 4 shifts of damage I would take. Okay. If that's how you're doing it. Yeah. So being that my my one stress box was already used up.
Mhm.
I believe because we only had 2 stress each, or did we have 3? I can't remember. I think we
Uh,
I thought it was only 2.
Yeah, I think it's only 2. Okay. So then if I had 4 uh, stress coming in, I can basically I would have to end up taking a moderate consequence, okay, which is a 4. So
okay.
so whatever that is, that trauma is, that's what I got now. Okay.
Okay. This horrendous image, seeing your flesh melt away and
Wow.
all these things just defying logic. As far as you're concerned, science is a lie at this
Hmm.
point. Uh,
Okay. Maybe that's a consequence I got.
that'll
Science is
be
a lie.
that'll be your consequence.
Okay. So my science, my logic has failed me. Okay. And then since I have that, you automatically have 1 free invoke on that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, you see,
Or compel, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
right? You see when Randolph goes in the room, he just doesn't seem right. He's already paranoid and jittery, and now he's sweating profusely and looks as though maybe a bit of flailing is going on, shaking, as though he's burning up.
See, my eyes are locked on the door, and his whole body's or my whole body's kind of quivering, and you see that. I mean, he looks like he's ready to actually. He has a look of almost not necessarily terror on his face, but almost just as if he is under like an extreme amount of anguish, or as if he's just about to break down and maybe even begin to burst into tears or something. He's dancing on the edge.
All right. So what does Fast Freddy make of this?
Yeah, he starts yelling.
Pull yourself together, boy! Pull yourself together!
Then he'll start making his way over towards him, keeping the sword held two-handed to his side, preparing to swing just in case the
Now,
boy set him up.
as you step into the room and cross that threshold, the same horrendous image permeates into your mind, and you see your flesh bubbling, your brow beads with sweat, and your clothes cling to you, and you too will have to throw me an overcome.
Boom! You know what? You know what? Just to be funny, I'm gonna spend a fate point and invoke because I still see it, right? When I succeed.
Yeah, well, what happens is you see the images start, and your skin blisters and begins to bubble, and you kind of, snap your eyes, shake your head, and it just fades away like a mirage. But it's definitely something uneasy, it's eating away at you.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna
you,
I'm I'm gonna invoke I'm gonna spend the fate point because I got a couple now. Now we can start burning through them because I know this is probably towards the end, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's
about
gonna
over.
do talk my way out of a box as he sees these images and he's shaking his head and he goes, no, no. I mean, whoever's doing this must be real good, inside of his head. And he's whoever's doing this must be real good. This ain't what did they put? What did they slipped something into my cigars, didn't they, those bastards? You know, as he recoils almost like a Rolodex in his head, all of his previous acquaintances that share the same line of work he does. And he goes, it must be one of them. Must be one of them as he invokes talk his way out of a box to give himself a further +2 bonus to his roll, which would give him a total of 7.
A 7. Let's see, what is this? Succeed with style? Is that what that is?
I think so.
3. Yeah, I think that succeeds the style. So you get an additional benefit. So Freddy, being the man of stature he is, and the greatest exorcist, to grace the East Side, he always stays cool, and will get the what is it, I believe an aspect or the benefit always
It's a boost.
a
It's a
boost.
Yeah, you
boost
get the
with
boost, yeah.
with one free invoke. So always stay cool.
Always stays cool.
There you go.
Ain't hot enough in here for Freddy.
Yeah, and you know what? With that, he'll actually pull out another cigar, reach forward to the tip of the blade, and light it with his ignited handkerchief, and then just go.
Calm, boy. Be calm.
All right.
And then he'll look at his cigar and go,
Oh, forgot.
and put it out on the wall.
They slipped me something on my cigars. I can't.
So Randolph will still be suffering from minor, delusions. It's as Freddy speaks to him and kind of rouses him, but as soon as he starts to, not pay attention, focus on something else, you start to feel it again. Skin bubbling and blistering, and when you look at it, it remains for just an instant and it's gone.
Go ahead.
That's like every time you're just not focusing on it, it starts to happen.
Okay, so it's recurring. Okay. Wow.
That paranoia is getting to you.
I can't and don't want to tear my eyes away from the oven, because I know it's hot. I feel the heat. I don't know why Freddy can't tell, but you can't feel this, Freddy? It's almost unbearable. And I wipe my brow again. You see that the bat's actually getting wet and slick with the sweat coming off of my hands and arms.
Yeah,
You better run, man.
Freddy will actually tip his hat up just a little bit more, right? Wipe away with just the back of his hand. He goes,
Yeah, you know what?
then looks at his compatriot and just ever so slightly and stares into this. What Freddy can see is that this oven is actually off, right? Or does he actually?
Yeah, it's not on. It's it'd be cold to the touch. I'd assume that Freddy, in his infinite wisdom, would recognize it, perhaps for what it is, and that would be a crematorium.
Yeah. Like I said, he wipes his sweat away, not because of the heat, but because of the anxiety, the anxiousness. The very moment just before that big score is starting to get to him. And he's staring into this crematorium. He can see the slits in the crematorium almost transforming into dollar signs. And as he goes,
Yeah, I feel it. We're more alike than I thought, youngin.
and
This is gonna be big. Must be where they keep the good stuff.
and actually will reach forward, right, reach down at the base of this crematorium to lift the gate up to see the prizes, the treasure that lays just behind.
So as you reach out to grab it, it's cold to the touch, and you open it, and it swings on silent hinges, and through the dim light of your sword torch, you see ashes on the skeleton. The skeleton can't be no more than 5 feet in height, and the bones are charred.
What you see?
Yeah, he just digs in, like, being the upstanding citizen that he is. It's not like he hasn't rooted around in a few dead bodies before to get what he wants. So he'll go in there and he'll start, you know, shining his torch actually inside the crematorium, and he'll be like, "Come on, boy,"
This is where the good stuff is at. I know it. I can feel it in my bones.
and he'll step inside.
So,
Could that count as like
Insanity.
a self compel for money's more real than ghosts?
I suppose. I
Because
don't see why not.
I know for a
What
fact
what
I'm
other
doing the
reason would
right
he have
thing.
to go in there? Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah.
Sure. So yeah, you go in there and you're digging around in the ashes and soot's flying, and you're not really finding anything, but you do notice as you're rummaging around and pushing the skeleton aside, desecrating it to say the least. Uh, there are some what look to be some strange indentations, gashes between the rib cages, and this isn't how a rib cage would typically look, unless perhaps it's been stabbed.
Did Randolph follow me in, or is he standing
I
just
don't
outside?
know. Randolph is. Who knows what Randolph's doing? He's pretty paranoid right now. He's hallucinating.
I'm starting to get just a tad bit paranoid myself.
It's after I see him just go ahead and walk in there like it was he was just going into the speakeasy.
Right.
And he left me here. I man, I would guess that being that my mind is pretty blown at this point. Uh, I just will kind of like resign to my fate almost, and
Right.
follow him in there. Just I'll let the bat drop from my slick hands, and just follow him in. Just walk in, just like, man, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's nothing of real interest in there aside, a bunch of ashes and that one particular skeleton that's still hanging out in there with the puncture wounds, gashes between the rib cage. You would notice, perhaps as you're walking in your paranoia, looking around in every which way, tucked off in the corner is a pile of what looks to be rags, and one of the vases, which you may suspect now are in fact not vases but urns, um, is gold, or it looks to be gold, and has
Nice.
a very distinct, prominent cross uh, engraved onto it, quite ornate. Uh, and that's prior to you crossing into the crematorium.
I just kind of walk in there, hands at my sides, and kind of just stand next to Freddie, just kind of standing right next to him. He just kind of hears my heavy breathing, and that's about it.
Do I see this golden urn?
Well, it was on the shelf, hidden, kind of tucked behind all the other ones. So, like I said, Randolph is pretty paranoid and scrutinizing and looking at everything. So he
So
managed to pick this out. Um,
so what I do is I just I point to the corpse and throw Randolph a glance and just tell him,
Looks like foul play.
Of course, what else could it be, you know? And I guess I could be kind of find a momentary be able to grasp the fact that there are markings or whatever, and kind of grasp onto that fact, as
Mhm.
kind of like a small glimmer of light out of the darkness of my mind,
Mhm.
and kind of feel a little solace and a little respite in the fact that yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. I can understand that.
Okay.
But can we get up out of here now? We need to go. Uh-oh, I think we might have lost them.
We might have lost Nelson for a
Yeah,
moment. I'm
yeah.
sure he'll be back. Slight intermission, folks, while we wait for the esteemed Fast Freddy to
Game was too
return.
intense, man. You pulled the plug.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some coffee.
Okay.
Okay. Nelson, you there? You still gone?
Yeah, he's still gone.
Okay. Shoot him a quick message on Das Book. Yeah, he's doesn't appear to be on Facebook. Even his router might be acting up,
Oh wow. Okay.
so it might be a few more for he pops back in.
Okay.
Assuming he does.
All right.
You guys
I'm gonna
are
grab
you're
something to
about
drink real quick. Huh?
okay.
What were you gonna
So
say?
you guys are about done.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I'll be right back.
Fuck, that's hot. Hmm. Still no word from the esteemed Freddy.
Yeah.
So hopefully. Give him give him a few more. I'll wait patiently for a bit. Um, if he doesn't come back, we can still end up wrapping it up. Like I said, it's pretty much about over.
Okay.
So I don't foresee you guys checking anything else out at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember,
So what do you think so far? You think you got kind of a grasp on it and stuff?
yeah, I wouldn't say I have a firm grasp on it, but
Hmm.
it's getting there. You know, I said trial by fire. It's definitely one of those things where I mean, I learn better just by doing stuff
Oh yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to reading. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, I wanted to do the oh,
There
he's
he
back.
goes. There he goes.
Yeah, sorry about that, gentlemen. I just had a catastrophic failure of
Oh
sorts.
wow. Okay.
No worries, man. We you had about 3 more minutes.
All right. So, did I mess up anything, or I don't know what happened? Like,
No, it's everything's fine. You know, you just DC'd, so whatever interaction was going on between you two.
Uh, Man. Okay. So I guess after kind of seeing the state of the bones that are in here, and after kind of looking at the one that had looked like it actually had cut marks or whatever on it, you know,
Hmm.
um, after kind of grasping onto that, um, and he dropped again.
What the
Yeah,
hell, man?
yeah, he got problems. Uh,
It's got to be his router acting
yeah,
up.
something's going on. Yeah. But I'm still going to insist that we back up out of there, and it's time to leave. It's
And he's
definitely time to
back.
go.
all right. I'm not fiddling with nothing else more. I was trying to get my camera back and it crashed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't
I got
worry about it, man.
my camera's not, it's out of commission right now.
Okay.
That's fine. Randolph insists that you guys leave.
Yeah, that's it. We fiddle around too much. I was wrong. We need to go. I admit it. I was wrong. There's something going on here.
Well, that he admits he's wrong. He goes, Fast Freddy turns to Randolph. He goes,
All right, youngin', all right. Maybe we should get you out of here. I'll return to handle business, uh, on my own terms without having to take care of any of the youngins. Don't worry, Fast Freddy over here
as he sort of puffs up his chest once again, you know,
is here to protect citizens such as yourself.
and he'll start making his way out.
Okay. So yeah, if you're leaving with Randolph in tow, um, you know, you would get through the room just fine. Um, be able to, you know, go up the stairs, you know, unmolested. Everything seems as it, you know, was kind of when you first came in. Silent
I
and dusty.
I constantly look over my shoulder, um, expecting to looking up at the upper level above us and looking around because we or at least I thought we heard footsteps, again. Uh, just kind of eyes darting at the corners or at the shadows, and still having forgotten to grasp his coat, and actually having had dropped his thesis paper as well in the other room. I'm just focusing on getting my hand around the handle to the front entrance, and getting back out in the night air.
Okay, so it says you get up the steps, get in there, and back into the main room, the foyer. You hear thunder roll across the sky, and you see lightning streak, and heavy rain falls outside. And then you see them, 8 orange glowing orbs through the smeared windows outside. They look to be what is perhaps torches, held aloft by some citizens of the town, and they simply stand there waiting by the wrought iron gate.
Yeah, when we're leaving, we get back to the foyer. We get back to my bag. You know, um, almost at first, Freddy is looking at the sword and looking at the bag, seeing if it'll fit in, and seeing that he doesn't quite have enough room. He tucks the sword away into a little nook, hopefully not to be discovered. Uh, gets his bag and gets his stuff in order. Pulls his brimmed hat, his fedora down a little lower, and proceeds his way out. Seeing little people with their torches, he'll turn on a flashlight and just aim it their way.
Okay. So as you get closer, nearing the edge of the wall, and the mounds of dirt now mucky, slick with water, the shovel leaning as it loses its hold. An old woman steps forward from the group. There's about 8 people. She asks, "What are you doing here?"
I step forward, kind of wringing my hands, oblivious to the rain that's soaking me, and I say, we're glad you're here, and I point back to the house and say, there's strange things going on up there. There's bodies and notes and bodies.
Yeah. Protecting himself, sort of flipping up the collar of his coat to ensure that he's kept a little bit more, safe from this downpour. He'll start rummaging around inside of his coat once more, pull out his wallet. Um, he'll open it up, flick that badge ever so quickly once again, flick it back into his wallet, then dig around once more, pulling out a business card. Now, he couldn't afford to get too many of these printed up, but he does manage to hand the old lady his business card, puts the wallet back in his coat, pulls his brim down just a tad bit lower, and goes,
Detective Frederick P. Anderson at your service, paranormal investigator.
As you hand the card to this old crone, she reaches out and takes it, and you notice on her finger a familiar looking ring with a signet set in it. And she eyes it for a moment, and the people begin to fan out slowly around you, and she simply flicks it to the ground. We don't need your help around here. Everything is just fine, stranger.
Yeah, knowing a setup when Freddy sees a setup,
It dawns
he'll
on you.
he'll he'll put his hand in his pocket, the pocket that he has had his butterfly knife tucked away for a little bit of time.
As this happens, the ground begins to roll beneath your feet, and the crone extends her other hand, and a straw effigy falls from her sleeves to hang by a cord at her wrist.
Oh, I'm
I told
interrupting
you.
the hell out of this. No, wait, no, wait, no, I'm interrupting the hell out of
Slow
this.
it down. Go ahead and slow it down. He says, I told you. No good comes from nosing around what don't concern you. And another flash of lightning rips across the sky, and in its light, you see the faces of the townsfolk, rotted and decayed, fetid flesh hanging from slack jaws for just a moment, and skeletal hands begin to burst from the ground, and another, and another, and dozens of ghoulish appendages claw and grab at your ankles, and they begin to pull you down. In a moment of clarity, you realize perhaps they weren't digging graves. Perhaps they were exhuming their friends. And she smiles. This here's our town. We don't need your kind poking about. And you begin to get drugged down into the cold. And that concludes this adventure.
Okay. There you go.
Whatever, messing around my player agency like that. Like, come on, you know Fast Freddy would know a setup when he sees it.
Right.
Hanging around in speakeasies, you know, the fact that he
Perhaps
has the fact
Fast
that
Freddy
he's not
was
in jail
outsmarted.
currently, you know what I'm saying? I was about to just scream out, you know, seeing them fan out, you know. The only thing Fast Freddy would have done would just be yelling out at Randolph, talking about self-defense!
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm sure, in a couple of weeks after Fast Freddy has, acceptedly,
Messing
fed
around
it
my
and
player
rotted away.
agency.
Right.
Viewers
He'll
beware.
come.
Viewers
He'll
beware.
come
When
back.
you enter the realm of Gotham,
See.
it is not under the protection
See.
of Batman.
See.
It is under the the agency crushing weight
See.
of the billionaire philanthropist.
See.
Makes you feel it.
Narrative interpretation, man.
So, that concludes this adventure of Bad Omens, the horror mystery themed game ran with the wonderful Fate Core engine. My name is Heath Wanamaker, aka Bruce Wayne. You can check me out on the YouTubes somewhere on there. Look up Bruce Wayne, or perhaps Gaming in Gotham.
There you go.
And I will hand it over to my wonderful guests who played along. We'll start with David Sims.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the opportunity to play in this creepy game. It really had a good time with it, and thanks a lot. Hopefully we can hopefully it'll start a trend for more horror themed games in the one-shot group. That would be fantastic.
And last but not least, Nelson, Infinite Roleplay himself.
My name is Nelson. I have a YouTube and Facebook channel, Infinite Roleplay. Again, I do a bunch of artistic stuff, multiple forms, roleplay related stuff, and everything that I just said about Bruce Wayne, aka Heath, ignore. I mean, that's my buddy. We were always messing around with each other. Just judge by watching the game. It was a cool game, cool narrations, very fun. Fate is a great system. You can come by, Tabletop One Shot group on Facebook. Come see us. We don't do just Fate. Fate Accelerated, Fate Core, D&D 5th Edition, all sorts of things. And if there's something that you see that's not getting played that you would like to be played, just DM a game, and everybody's interested in playing multiple systems, myself included. So until I see you next time, peace out, and I hope you enjoy.
All right, you viewers, take care.